How is this show? Are you motherfuckers entertained? You fucks literally have come barely. I thought, well, I've just landed here. I haven't even had time to take a shit. And here we are live from Gamescom. Well, actually, Gamescom is still going. I have not slept. You can probably tell from my face. I'm a bit sauced, but we have an incredible show for you guys. We have so much to talk to. My voice has disappeared. My throat is fucked. Forza Owen fucked my throat. And we are here to talk about Hi. Asa, how are you? Before I introduce
You've suddenly in that moment made me glad I didn't go to Gamescom. I saw some of Gamescom over the internet, and I was thinking, hey, that makes me part of this. And then you go into the details of what you were up to over there, and I'm all right. I was all right staying in my little village. Thanks.
You missed out, Asa.
Bro, you missed out, man. Shit. Oh, man. It has been a crazy week for me, a crazy day. The day hasn't ended. It's been a long 48 hours. But it has been an incredible week. I had the chance with two of these lovely gents to attend Gamescom and with others, and it was an epic event. Just incredible. And I had to get, we bonded. Now, Forza Owen didn't actually penetrate my throat, but he penetrated my soul. And so did Dutch. And so did all the lovely content creators I got to meet at this incredible event. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Forza Owen. Welcome making How are you doing, man?
Dude, I'm doing so good. Gamescom was so nice. Being the tour guide of you all, it was crazy as hell. But no, we had so many laughs, seeing people for the first time in real life. You never really met them before, right? Besides the internet. Also, you tagged along some friends like Benjamin and Sammy. And somehow, we had a very diverse group. People coming from different countries and cultures and whatsoever. But dude, I don't know what happened, but we connected like crazy, and that's what gaming does. You have a shared passion, let's say, and that's so fantastic. And like you also guess, we laughed our fucking asses off. Really, it was insane. So I had a super good time, man. And I appreciate it for the invite for tonight. It's been a while that I did a podcast. Normally, I was on a midweek podcast with Drew as well. So it's been a while, but feel honored for the invite, guys. So happy to be here.
Bro, we are honored as well, man. We had an incredible time, man, and it was so good to meet you, man. We instantly hit off. My friends Ben and Sammy still asking about you. Like, yo, man, is Owen actually coming on your show? I'm like, you fucks, you never watch it unless, but now you want to watch it because Owen's there. And I get it. I get it. No, but honestly, man, like, it was epic. But we'll get into that. But before we do, man of an hour, man, Wandering Dutch, you soldier, who really got all of us, well, me particularly, organized and just tolerated all my stupid, recurring questions, the same questions over and over again leading up to Gamescom, and it just all kind of were the magnet for the whole thing, man. Dutch, hello, sir. Let me play some tunes for you. How are you? I know you were tired, but you made it just like I did. What are you doing, sir?
Yeah, knackered, absolutely exhausted, but it was absolutely epic. Again, obviously, I've known Erwin for quite a while, so it was just to catch up with Erwin. It was more hello again, welcome back. But everybody else was awesome meeting Boxenberger for the first time, and yourself and John and Sammy and Ben for the first time. Of course, never heard of them or met them before, so it was good to watch them. Sammy is just insane. He's just like just nutcase. Absolutely.
I told you my friends are fucking crazy.
Yeah, and obviously Xbox Mick and the rest of the crew. It's so many people. It was absolutely awesome, and I don't know how we managed. Like Erwin was saying, I don't know how we all managed to click, but there was literally no drama at all. Everyone was just having fun. It was awesome.
It was like you're right. I'm only kind of realizing it now because we do the podcasting thing for ages, and I've talked to you for ages, and I talked to Boxenberger a few times. And, like I thought, it's going to be different. But other than the proportions of people, Erwin's a fucking giant.
You mean the fucking green giant here?
Yeah, freaking Erwin is a freaking gigantic guy, bro. It's just like huge. It was just
they mentioned like Gas is there, and I was like, where the fuck is he? And then I almost stepped on him.
You bitch. No way, bro. No way. I was conscious because I've seen your pictures, and I told my friend, this guy, he's gonna make me look like a complete hobbit if I stand next to him. But luckily for me, Dutch is shorter than me, so I was like, yeah.
Motherfucker, your hair is taller than me.
Oh man, funny story. We met Melania or Melena. How do you pronounce her name? Melina. Oh my god. She's the actress from Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. And yeah, she's just so nice. She's such a lovely person. And we met her, took pictures with her, and then she was taller than me, and she just heard me say, fuck, she's taller than me. And she goes like, well, you're lucky I'm not even wearing heels. I was like, but my gelled hair, like old 2006, because I couldn't be asked to do my hair look, fucking saved me. But like Germans are tall, man. Germans are generally pretty tall people, but I fared well. I think I fared okay.
Hey, and what did you like about her, Guess? Can you explain a little bit more in detail?
Her personality.
Oh, okay.
No, she's very attractive.
Yes.
And one of our friends, I'm not going to mention who, it wasn't me, this is so embarrassing, chat. He was like, yo, look, I got a picture of Melina here, and she's like looking like she's kissing me. I'm like, oh, you lucky shit. I should have told her to do the same pose. She's so fit. Not realizing this is the end of the show. There's hardly anyone with us. We're walking out. She's right behind us, hearing the whole thing. Oh my God, my penis receded into my abdomen so fast. Even though I didn't make those comments, it was so awkward, man. And like even my friend Ben was like, yo, bro, I literally face palmed inside. It was so bad. It was so bad, man. Melania, if you're watching this, please don't tell me you're watching this. I hope you're not watching this.
But she was lovely.
Sad, horny man. No, she's lovely though. She's such a lovely person.
She's very kind.
Just like,
even after in the comments, she was like still appreciating it. And the other guy,
she remembered everything. She was talking about. She meant the height thing because I met her at the end. You're like, I'm still taller than you, and I was like, fuck. She's just such a lovely person. And we got to meet. Look, so this is my new experience for me. Yeah, for me, I like to keep the sauce. But went to meet Aaron Greenberg. What a fucking G, man. Aaron Greenberg is actually such a nice guy, man. Just down to earth. Like, he was the nicest guy. He's like, oh, point it at me. He goes, Gaz. I'm like, oh shit, you know who I am? He goes, of course I do. I was like, fuck. Like, how oh shit, I'm sorry for everything I've said about you.
And then you threw the pony hat.
Yeah, I had the pony hat. That was ready. You know what's funny, chat? So you may not follow Twitter. I had the pony hat, and I said, yo, Aaron, please, man. Just if I wear it, can you? All my friends wear it. Just punch us or just kick us. He goes, I can't do that, man. I can't. I was like, come on, Aaron. You know you want to. And in his eyes, I know he wanted to do it.
Yes, you saw it. The tinkling.
Yeah, I saw it in his eyes. There was a glimmer of, I want to punch this pony mouse so bad, but yeah.
But he said, I want to keep my job.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah, I want to keep my job, Gaz. But he's such a lovely guy, and the community thing seems a little bit cliche and like, oh yeah, you guys just suck dick in this place, and now you're all like really enamored with everyone. But genuinely, the whole think it was so positive. It was so nice to come up with like
everyone,
hi.
Let's say, on the team is so approachable as well. You don't expect it from a multi-billion-dollar company, right?
I've been to these events. I've been to events like these with lots of money being spent on these public affairs. You cannot fake it. That's what and if there was a tiny inch of someone faking, I would go. I'm a bit like, go fuck yourself. But there was none of that. In fact, it put me to shame. Like, Gaz, you were so skeptical about this whole thing. The Xbox community, genuinely, in Germany, is actually, despite being smaller, is way more tight knit. And the Gamescom, Xbox came in big. When I came in 10 years ago at the launch of the Xbox One, the Xbox boot was tiny, like tiny little quarter of what I think it is now, maybe a little bit more.
Precisely 50,000 square feet this year.
Jeez. And it had presence, and it was like the center of the show almost, because the way they had it, they did a great job. And we went to FanFest after that, and we'll go into talking about we want to share that experience, because it's just that you guys need to, if you didn't go there, then it's a cool event you need to go to.
If you ever have any doubts or whatsoever to sign up or whatever, please do so, because it's so ridiculously nice. Not only to meet those guys like Aaron and all the other guys on the team, right, but also the community all around. I've been to XO19 as well, right, in London in 2019, of course, and that was the same stuff. Because I saw actually a lot of people from Gamescom over there. I saw an XO19 as well in London, which was absolutely fabulous, right? So I don't know if there's an XO event coming later this year, and if so, you can bet your ass I'm going to go there, really. Doesn't matter where it is in Europe or whatsoever. We need to go.
Yeah. No, bro.
We need to go, really. I think it's coming. I think, to be honest, the XO event, because also Phil said they were probably going to do more shows and whatsoever, because there are a lot of games to show. So let's see. I think it will. I think it will happen, but we need to book tickets, mate.
Absolutely, I will do it, because ultimately that kind of the community thing is so important. I hope PlayStation do something like this as well, because it's actually really nice to have.
In the past,
they had PlayStation did have shows, but I think it comes from the top-down leadership. They kind of need to lead that cohesive, cogent community focus, where Xbox do have it, and they don't fake it. Aaron Greenberg was there throughout the day. He did when we went to Xbox Fan Fest.
He was non-stop, Greenberg. Yeah. He was just everywhere.
He had a full-on energy. He did not wane. He was doing the thing. He was still hyped. He was hyped delivering it. Energy was off the charts when he's giving prizes away. He just didn't wane. When the guy was doing some German rap, which I was like, what the flip is this? He was just laughing and just filming it. He was just loving it. Yeah. It's just a good vibe.
He's opening the door and closing as well. And the funny thing is that he knows all the details, right? That you have discussed on Twitter or personally to him or whatsoever, right?
He asked why my account was banned. He was like, so what happened?
Oh,
why
really?
was your account banned?
Yeah, we had a lunch.
Shit.
We had a lunch, right, on the Tuesday it was. So it's a tradition, right? I have that since 2016 already. And every time I try to tag somebody else along, so I brought my friend Barry. This time I brought Drew with me as well, and also Daniel Snitkemoose, the guy from the Pins, right? He brought some people as well. Okay. Marcus and his girlfriend, Fernando was her name, I believe. Yeah. But to hear Aaron talking, right, about Drew, like, he knows his account was being banned and whatsoever, so he reads everything, but he remembers also from probably thousands of people whatsoever, and that's incredible, and that's probably the reason why he's in such a position as well. But he is really an honest, truthful guy, and people can make fun of him and do whatever, right, and maybe overhyping sometimes. Yeah, sure, but he's a genuine person, and you don't see that a lot, especially not in such a position.
I was surprised by that. I was surprised by that. I thought there'd be an element of fakery, just he's doing because it's a job. Yes. But the guy genuinely cares. I mean, he has a wicked job, let's be real. Yes. But he does enjoy it. And he's a nice guy. He's so down to earth, man. Like, I was just scared my mate Sammy would bump into him, that I was like, fuck.
I can imagine.
Oh, that would have been a freaking shit show. But Asa, you didn't get to join us, unfortunately, but you observing the festivities from a distance. What did you make of the show? Because we were like just there, so our view is kind of sullied.
So before it all happened, like Gamescom year on year, people always have this massive hype in the run up that they're going to announce loads and loads of stuff, and that's never the case. And I've always looked at it and gone, it looks like it'd be really fun to be there. Probably actually not all that interesting from a distance. And actually I thought they did better than usual this year. They didn't have loads of massive new announcements, but it was like opening night live, at least there was quite a lot to get your teeth into, quite a lot to enjoy. So from a distance, it looked like a good time.
Oh really? Okay. I missed open night live. That's when we landed. What was it that they showed at opening? I genuinely don't know. I've just been in the Matrix.
I have forgotten.
I think the only one that stood out to me was Crimson Desert, which was definitely the highlight of the show.
I saw a bit of that. That looks crazy.
Yeah, that was super pretty. That was that giant open world game that you saw, Erwin. At the beginning of the show before it got terrible.
Yeah. That was a good one. And what's the Japanese game or the Chinese game, right?
Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, Black Myth. Holy shit, dude.
Bro, so Black Myth Wukong, it wasn't playable or anything. They had it on the show floor just to show off, and it had a queue.
It was playable. It was playable.
It playable?
But it was 300 minutes long. The queue.
Oh, okay. So that explains 300. Oh, no, I'm no waiting.
But yeah, technically it wasn't playable.
Oh yeah,
it was playable after 300 minutes.
Damn. Okay, so it was playable,
for 5
bro.
hours.
The line went round the thing.
Yes, that's one.
Three times.
3 times. That's ridiculous. The hype for that game goes to show, man. People are noticing that Black Myth Wukong, another Soulsborne game, but it looks what are its like highlighting qualities? Really, whilst the gameplay is okay, it looks good. I think the visuals and the style of it, the Chinese mythical style, is what makes it stand out. And that's why you have all these people waiting for this game. But I didn't realize they showed off more gameplay. So it must have been really good.
Do you think it can run on the Xbox Series S though?
I have no fucking clue. Does it have split screen, Owen?
Yes!
No. Oh man, we're getting... Oh man, but it's a Black Myth Wukong got a showing, which I haven't even seen, chat. So
and the Starfield, Starfield was the opening of the show with the piano, right? Or first there was a dude coming to Jeff Keighley about Bill Gates playing GTA 6. So what the fuck was that?
Oh, so yes. So on socials, another guy ran it. Their security needs to get freaking upgraded because if it's
bloody stage invaders need to get upgraded. Like that's not funny. What the fuck are you doing,
bro? If you know what happens at FanFest, they had a queue for Phil Spencer just to like meet and sign in. There was a line to meet Phil Spencer. John from Xbox Era signed in there. That's how much he goggles. No, just kidding. He was getting his book to be signed. So he has a good reason other than finding out what Phil Spencer tastes like. But the rest of the people, I couldn't do it. I couldn't just queue up there just to meet this man. I was like, come on, man. The Source boss can't just sit there to queue up to meet this man. Say, I love you, Phil. But I forgot the point I was making. So I'm just going to stare at the camera. What was I trying to say? What was I trying to say?
Yeah, about the security, right? That people just can run up and whatever. I mean, I thought first
to go in with a pony mask. And
exactly. First, I thought it was you against Jeff Keighley. I was like, what? But then it was some other dude.
Chat, Erwin was egging me on to put my pony mask on and invade Phil Spencer there. He was doing it. And I was this close to doing it. You could see my anus going. Well, you couldn't see my anus doing that. But my mental anus was going like this. I just so close. Close to doing it.
This is the problem, folks. Gaz has just confirmed he does have a mental anus. Most people don't have one of those, Gaz.
How does that even look like, for fuck's sake? And it runs FSR 3.0.
Fuck me.
Yo, you're killing me, bro. Oh shit. Yeah. Well, I do. Yeah, but so generally it was kind of, the security was pretty chill, but someone could do some shit. So guys, be careful out there if you're famous. Yeah, no, it was mad. But FanFest was big. Now, Forza Owen.
Yes.
Your name's Owen. We call you Forza Owen because you love Forza, and you are the authority to me on Forza. Anything you say, you've been quite critical of Forza. Me and you have actually shared a few views on Forza Horizon. We were on a show before together, and we kind of shared our skepticism about, well, not skepticism, but a little bit dismayed that Forza Horizon. Well, actually, the two topics here. I remember our conversation because you and Dutchy actually got to play the Crew. And you played that, and you came away very impressed, more impressed than you imagined. And you think, one of you thinks, or either one of you, you tell me, thinks that this game actually gives Forza Horizon, the latest one anyway, a run for its money.
Yes.
Talk to us.
I think so. Drew and I played, and I didn't play the beta, to be honest. I think I was on a business trip that period, so I couldn't play, sadly enough. But I heard a lot of people already saying, like, man, this beta is good, even on the wheel, people using the wheel with the Simcade physics. And I was like, yeah, sure, probably not going to be a beat Horizon, or people wanting it to beat Horizon, right? Yeah. But indeed, so I had my expectations, quite low. But then we were playing it, and Drew was sitting next to me, and every time I was like, Drew, like, fuck, man, because you played with a Lamborghini, and then you played with a Jeep, and then you played with a different car, then you played with a Formula 1 car.
Very Forza Horizon.
Exactly. So every time when you're playing, transitioning to another car, I was like, dude, this is actually feeling good. It looks good. It's quite challenging as well. So I came away very impressed. And then we talked to the guy also, Marcus, right, who works at Ubisoft. And I checked some more videos and whatsoever. And the nice thing is that what we talked about, let's say 1 or 1.5 years ago on the podcast, where does Horizon needs to improve? Because if you look at it, the Horizon games since 2 didn't really innovate, right? It's almost copy-paste. It's almost like you get a different country, DLC, and you play everything again. Don't get me wrong, I like Horizon. It looks absolutely fabulous. The driving is nice, blah, 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 blah. But it's more or less of every time repeating the same stuff, right? So in my opinion, they needed to innovate. And I think that actually the Crew Motorfest is doing that. So it is like a 2.0 of Horizon, so to speak, because you can play with damn boats. You can play with planes or whatsoever. You're transitioning also from, let's say, a car to a plane or to a boat or whatsoever instantly.
So sea and air.
Yes, exactly, right? So it could be actually a very, very big competitor for Horizon. And also from what I saw online, that the online part is also really nice. So that could be, let's say, that makes a 2.0 of Horizon, I think. And they need to step up their game because they cannot only change the location. Okay, this is Horizon again. They really need to up the game, or they need to change and do something completely different with the series.
I think, Erwin, to add to it as well, another part of it that adds to it is the fact that when you're doing the F1 races, or at least the F1 style cars, you still have all of these circuit rules. So you've still got pit stops, you've still got fuel management, you've still got to go in and change tires and things like that. So it's got a bit of an actual sim behind it when you're racing F1, as well as then having the giant open world aside where you're in jeeps or cars or boats or motorcycles or supercars, whatever it is. And the classic cars aren't like you can add NOS and things to them. They're raw, so you can't add silly kind of attachments to the classic cars. But the supercars, that's where you can. So it has got a good flavour of everything. But the thing that caught both of us off guard, I think the most, not the styling or the graphics or anything like that, but we've both played the Crew 2, and the handling on both those games was absolutely shit. It was terrible. It was like driving a shopping trolley, like with all wheels going in different directions. But this actually felt like a decent racing game for a change, and it felt good to drive, and it felt good to race around. And it was like, okay, that's what's caught me off guard, because the previous Crews have been terrible, like really bad. So I've had drastic improvements on the handling.
That's what Colt Colt Eastwood. Colt was saying to me when he played the beta, he said, this is actually a really fun game. He doesn't think, Forza Horizon, it's better than the last one, but I think, and he echoes mine and Erwin's sentiment that Forza Horizon and Playground Games, they've become quite comfortable, in my opinion, too comfortable with what they've been doing. And I think it needs a change. Some people will say if it's broke, why don't fix it. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
but the problem
nailed,
is
nailed. They've nailed what they've got, and that's brilliant that they've nailed what they've got. But they need to add something else to it now.
Yeah.
If you go back,
it's just the same thing in a different place every time. That's it.
If you go back to Horizon 2 or 3, it's pretty much the same game, right? And it's a really good game. And I see people in the chat like, 33 million players say hi. Yeah, of course, that's nice and all. It's on the PC, it's on Game Pass, it's probably everywhere. The number is impressive indeed, and it is a good game. And I love the franchise and whatsoever, but they need to also innovate because it's every time it's repeating the same thing. And I think we should expect better. And I think, to be honest, Motorfest is actually hitting the nail on the head with this one. And I saw also one of the old developers, right, or the creative director playing the game at the booth. And he was also kind of saucy, right? Like what was he saying? He made a tweet about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, these photos look similar.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So and it's true, huh? It's true. But if you can copy it, but then make it even better by doing additional stuff, let's say, if Forza or if Horizon is not doing it, let them even try it. But I need to see. I think this game can surprise. There's also a ability to play the game for 5 hours, I believe, somewhere in September. So you can play it for free, try it for 5 hours, and see how it is. I'm definitely gonna do that. If it's really good, then I will go for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And especially like the PlayStation fans who've been yearning for a Horizon-esque game.
Yes.
There is no better chance than to pick this game up and play it. If you really want a Horizon-esque game that is anywhere near the level of Horizon, you've got to pick up Motorfest.
Yeah, it's not like you have a choice anyway. Shit games on.
But it's not like it's not like the Gran Turismo aren't going to do a spin-off anytime soon. They're not like they are absolutely die-hard sim racing developers. They've never made an open world racing game, and I don't think they will. So I think this is the best opportunity they've got for a decent game. And like I say, for me, it was just the fact that they've actually nailed the feel of the cars now. They've nailed how driving feels.
Yes.
And previous crews were terrible. That was the only thing that stood out to me, was a case of, okay, this actually feels good now.
Yeah.
Thank God.
It also looks impressive, Drew.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it looks really good.
Playing right now on stream. Asa, you had the chance to play the closed beta.
I had a chance to play it, but I didn't play it. I downloaded it. I thought about it, but I tried the previous 2 crew games, and I thought, realistically, I'm not going to like it. It's a racing game that I can't play in VR. And I had low expectations, but I'm hearing these positive things about it. I'm still not going to play it, let's be honest. If they come out and tell me, you know what, this is like Forza Horizon, but it's got VR support, then yeah, absolutely, I'll download it and I'll give it a good old go and I'll learn everything about it. But as it stands,
did you play Gran Turismo VR, Asa?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. How do you like it?
So Gran Turismo 7 is like a bad game that's incredible in virtual reality. Really, really good.
Facts.
So I still play it regularly, and
his bald head is about to explode when you just said those words.
FYI, he's going to be a little bit torn because I'm saying 2 things, aren't I? And one's negative and one's positive. Yeah. When it came out as a pancake game, I said like this is sterile and it's horrible. And I've been playing it this week actually in virtual reality, and it's still the same game. It's still sterile. It's still stale. I still upgrade my car a little bit beyond my competition and klutz around the track like an idiot, get the win, and bounce into the next one, go to this stupid cafe menu, and just like, this is terrible presentation, terrible music. So I turn the music off, I get Spotify going through it, get into VR, do some races, and it's incredible in VR. Racing games are just not the same on a screen. Have you, Forza,
I do agree with you.
You are obviously a Forza fan, so you've not got the VR option there, but have you tried any racing games in VR?
I tried on some shows, yes. Actually tried GT Sport back in the day in VR with the shitty graphics and everything, and the whole game was not playable in VR, right? So I think it was only a limited AI. You couldn't play online and whatsoever. But being on a wheel in VR, so we used the wheel as well. It was Fanatec on the show also, and that's an incredible experience. And I was actually on the edge of buying a PS5 with VR, PSVR 2. Just for this experience, I didn't do it, and I think I don't regret it because probably with all the hype was going on, all right. But I can imagine that people are really loving it when you have a wheel and the VR glasses on. It's such an amazing experience, and they do actually very nice the cockpit views as well, right? That's very detailed how they build it. Polyphony, they are masters in that one. So I think it's a very enjoyable experience. But I'm not really there to put the money only for that experience, so to speak.
One game, basically.
Yes, because it's a lot of money, right? And I already bought quite an expensive direct drive wheel. So I'd rather spend my money on that instead of having only the VR glasses, right?
I'm with you there. And someone in chat is going crazy. And I agree with your assessment. It's a very sterile Gran Turismo is soulless, really soulless compared to even Forza, which is not a game that oozes any soul, the Motorsport series anyway. I also felt like for a racing series, it was good, but a little bit, even on the sterile side, when he was trying, even with the Top Gear implementation and whatnot. But we also, actually, before we go into the next topic, which Forza, your channel blew up on and some coverage on. Let's read these super chats, and thank you to 600 people watching. Please smash that like button. Huggy Channy with a $10 super chat. Good to see you, bro. Because it's at this point Dutch and Forza Erwin realized what they had done and accepted Gaz's invitation to go live. They knew it after they met me. I was surprised they said yes. Welcome, gents. Hope you all enjoyed Gamescom. It was epic, man. It was epic.
Yes.
And Huggy, if you can make it, you're not short of money. Just come and make it. Fly from the US and make it, man. It's an epic show. Corey Tidwell with a $5 super chat. Hopefully it wasn't too wild, Gaz. We all know by next week it looks like you have soup burns on your lips. What is that about?
Super.
Oh. It wasn't that wild, Corey. Okay, I'm not that bad. Not as bad as my friends.
It was only the truth. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
Straight though. No touching.
Oh shit! I deserve all those comments. Face with a $50 super chat. Face, what are you doing, bro? But thank you so much, man, for your support. It means a lot. Seriously, I would shout it through the roof, but my throat is fucked. Immortals of Avium runs internally at a resolution of 720p on both the Series X and the PlayStation 5 using all its UE5 features. Whilst in motion, you will notice the image break up from them using low res to upscale to 4K. If this is how next-gen UE5 games will run, pro consoles are needed. I will go back to that I've read it out. Acer, and I'm going to bounce to a little topic here. Phil Spencer actually basically confirmed there is no mid-gen console really going to be in the works. You were quite confident that there was going to be one, or a next-gen iteration, or I don't know how you class these things. How do you reconcile what Phil Spencer said with what you expected Xbox to do, and this comment from Face on UE5?
I still think, as I did before, that Xbox can release a new console whenever they want, and they are not going to call it a mid-gen refresh. This is what I've been saying for quite a while. Mid-gen refresh is not a thing that applies to Xbox anymore because they're not tied to generations in the same way as they used to be. I still expect they will have a new console within about a year of the PlayStation 5 Pro coming out, despite what Phil has just been saying about it.
Okay. Well, that's quite bold. I would like to think that, because but Face is right. I mean, Unreal Engine 5, anything that appears on it apart from Plague's Tale, which got fixed after the fact, it just tanks these consoles, which is ironic because Unreal Engine 5 is what was shown off. Well, the PlayStation 5 was shown off using this Unreal Engine 5 demo with Nanai and Lumen and all these things that she's flying in these through cliffs. The reality is bullshit. What did you say, Owen?
And showing off the SSD, right? The magical SSD.
Yes,
that's where the discussion
really
started.
double down on. Yeah, it's only possible on the PlayStation 5.
Yes.
At 30 frames and 260p. That's, I mean, I kind of feel Face's frustration there. I think the PlayStation is poised to have I've said this before, and I don't know, gents, if you disagree with me, but the power narrative has been lost, in my opinion, as far as Xbox versus PlayStation, in favor of PlayStation. Because whilst Xbox may have beaten some resolution, blah, 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 more often than not, the PlayStation tends to win. Now, the mid-gen console comes out. That's an even more decisive win, more embarrassing for Xbox that said that doesn't want to be out of position in power and price. And I just, unless what happens to be true, Asa says it happens to be true. Well, how do you reconcile that? Like, the face is, do you agree, Dutch, that it's an L for Xbox if the mid-gen comes out and Xbox doesn't get it? And do you think these consoles are a bit shit where we missold a bill of goods where everything is 720p now? It seems weak sauce to me, man.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, but then you look at first party and they're pumping out 4K 60. So it depends. This is some smaller EA studio. It's not one of the big guys. It's classed as one of the EA originals kind of thing. And it's really one of the bigger first games that they're coming out of their originals catalog. So I'm not going to look too much into the output because, again, I don't know the history of that specific developer or studio. But there has been a trend at the beginning of this gen with all consoles that it's going out at 720p, but and lower res and lower performance, etc. But then you look at the benchmarks on PC, and the PC kind of still now have some of the lower recommended or minimum requirements to run these games at higher res and higher performance. So whether or not it's just, I don't know what's going on with both the SKUs that they're using to develop with, or the tools for Unreal Engine, because it has been a talking point that Unreal Engine hasn't really lived up to what it can do, or hasn't provided the performance and graphical fidelity that people were expecting so far from UE5. It's been a bit of a...
it was the Xbox first party really show that.
Yeah, there's been a couple of missed games on third party with UE5 that haven't done much. And it's kind of caught people after all the hype that UE kind of spoke about the engine. UE5 so far, because again, it can get better with time and for better iterations and every time it's updated and so on and so forth. But so far, it hasn't done what we've thought it could do. And especially when they mentioned how much better it would be for performance with the technology that they've got for mega scans and creating worlds will allow them to have kind of better processing power and things like that. So it's a weird one.
I want to hear from Jesse P's foaming at the mouth, just dumbass export in the chat. I blocked the other card, he makes another one. GameOnDaily's a bit wrong over again. He's being triggered by the fact that the Xbox is getting slapped around a little bit on the power narrative. Can you tell us what we've said that is wrong? It's what happens when all your topics come from Twitter or X. No, it happens when pricks like you come out crawling from my arse. Say something of value. What is it that we're saying that's wrong? Tell us and then give us specifics. Erwin, what's your opinion on this power narrative thing? And I will lead to the next topic. And then
I think it's rather easy, right? I think it's way overblown. It's now one game that shows 720p, right? In just one game. I think if Hellblade also uses UE5, right? If that will be on 720p or even 1080p, that will be ridiculous. I think it's overblown, the whole power narrative. Either way, if it's PS5 or PS5 2.0 or whatever, people like to use it in advantage just to fuel their bullshit, right? I to be honest, I'm done with it. We are 3 years now in the generation, right? There are still slightly differences. Sometimes Xbox Series X comes on the top, the other time PS5. But the difference is, to be honest, guys, if you put them next to each other, if you're at home, you have the same television, you put them next to each other. The differences is so, let's say, small. I don't get the whole fuss around it, to be honest. Really, it's
a lot of it is spurred on. Like, well, let's be real, it is that not console warring stuff. But generally, are you happy with the performance of these consoles? Do they live up to your expectations in terms of power?
I think the expectations may have set a little bit wrong, let's say, and that's mainly due to ray tracing, right? The whole ray tracing part was, which they blown off in the beginning, and it will be including ray tracing or whatsoever. And we saw a couple games do it, like Spider-Man and some other games as well. But I think it's too taxing on these current consoles. So if we really want to have high resolution with high frame rate, you need actually an upfresh, because I think the current ones will have mediocre ray tracing. And people on my videos also responding now a lot, and does Forza has ray tracing or whatsoever? Well, the game runs at 4K 60. What I don't expect, to be honest, but it's an assumption that it will have ray tracing in-game while you're racing as well. And if it has some sort of ray tracing, it will be very small, like small details that will be ray traced or whatsoever, right? I think the expectations has been set wrongly, and people are then exaggerating, let's say, on the expectations as well, and get pissed off and blah, 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 blah. But I think it's also being set with the wrong expectation, to be honest, at the beginning of the gen.
Absolutely they have, because we've been sold that ray tracing is free on the Series X, like you said, Acer. Like, we were sold that kind of crazy level of performance, and it's when the moment you see some Unreal Engine coming into consoles, flexing its muscles even a tiny amount, these consoles just crumble at the knees. I will also say, I don't PlayStation 5 based on the PS4 Pro, I expect it to not be that well thought out. I expect PlayStation to just tweak the specs up a bit, and then
it can't be that much. The difference is as well, last time when we had the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, then the Pro and the One X, the jump that we got there was from 920 or 1080p to 4K, and in some cases native 4K at 60 or at 30 for previous gen titles. So then that was a hell of a jump then. It was like 4 times resolution compared to what we were used to, and like double the frame rate. So that was a massive jump, a massive leap. But what we're talking about next time with a refresh is just a little bit of extra performance. Like, you might get more stable 60, and you might get more games at 120.
Yeah.
But are you actually going to get real-time ray tracing? Because then you've got an additional SKU that's been added to it. So then you've got the base PS5 and this powerhouse PS5 Pro, and then the Series S and the Series X, and then PC. So then you're opening the SKU market up even more midway through the gen. And are they actually going to take a full advantage of the PS5 Pro for the remainder of the gen? Because I don't believe they will.
Yeah,
and then even if they did, it's going to be like, okay, well, this one runs in like a few extra stable frames and has ray tracing.
But Drew, also, you mentioned 120 FPS. That sounds nice, but I think if you look at the data, and it's all assumptions, but I think if you look at the data from the people who actually have a television or a screen that's 120 frames per second, I think that's very marginal, right?
Yeah.
So where do you focus on? I think with the consoles that we got with the PS5 and the Series X, I think the biggest gain is actually that everything is so smooth in startup. Loading times are hardly any there, right? Maybe a little bit textures. Maybe in with the One X we got 4K 30. Now we get 4K 60. It has been a small leap, which has been very convenient with the loading times. But I don't think we should expect also more, right? To be fair, or else it will tank on the frames per second if you put every bells and whistles on it. And is that something that we want? Every game then 30 frames per second? I don't know.
Thing is, I am a proponent for developers using the power as they see fit. And having played Starfield
Having seen Starfield at Gamescom and ascertaining quite a lot of interesting information from the trailer, you think
that, as Asa said, that we should not be very strict in our interpretation of 60 FPS and 30 FPS. It depends on the developers if they can justify the frame rate hit. Sometimes you'll be surprised. You may be surprised that the hits that they take in some places, they deliver in other places, and you'll be pleasantly satisfied or not. Who knows? But Starfield, I guess the jury's out. I guess.
Is it?
Aaron, don't slap me. But yeah, like, God, it's so freaking. Thank you, Asa. You did save me there. Yeah, but on the power stuff, Erwin.
Yes.
I was sat with you, or in front of you, actually, when we did we had the behind closed doors Forza gameplay, which they let you record and you put on your channel. Check it out. It's in the description. Forza Erwin is the guy to check out for all racing things. So do check it out. And he showed the gameplay of Forza Motorsport. And well, before I lead on to it, I will say this. I was very impressed by it. For someone who kind of dropped off Motorsport in favor of Horizon series and now is looking to go back to the Motorsport because the reasons we actually mentioned and talked about earlier about Horizon being quite derivative and blah, blah, blah. Forza Motorsport, I'm feeling the itch now, and this game looks very impressive. I would say it looks very impressive. Visually, the game looks clean. It just looks nice. It looks like a sizable jump. Because I was talking about Cult Show, it's like sometimes you can't even tell the difference between this Motorsport and 7, which I'm starting to play. But when you see it, when I saw it with you, it looked really good. The physics stuff, everything, the car feels like it has weight. But you said, well, before you talk about the handling, I want to talk about the ray tracing. I didn't see any ray tracing in the game. Although, in fairness, I'm a guy who can't tell the difference between screen space or ray tracing, according to Asa, and that may be correct. But I'm not sure if I saw any ray tracing in that version. I don't know what version it was.
In the menus, right? When they show off that car, that Porsche, I made a video also about it, posted on my channel. I think you see ray tracing over there. But then again, I'm not John Linneman, or what's the other guy's name, right? So if it's screen space reflections, probably could be as well. I'm a real donkey in that part. If it looks good, it looks good. I don't care which technique it uses. But I think in the menus, assumptions from my side, I think in the menus, yes. From at least the gameplay that we saw during the presentation on 4K 60, I don't think it was. I believe that GT7 only does it in replays, I believe also, and maybe in the showrooms or whatsoever. They couldn't do it also during gameplay. There's just too much things going on. Resolution, frame rate, all the AI, all the physics stuff, calculations going on the background. It's not possible, or at least I don't think it's realistic to
the funny thing is as well, I've seen an interview. This is obviously something we weren't privy to at the time because obviously we were literally there and watching it. Is Phil Spencer had an interview with Xbox during the showcase on the stage, obviously, that we were walking around all the time. And he's been playing Forza, and he reiterated again it is on-track ray tracing, 4K 60 on-track ray tracing.
Really?
He said that himself. Yeah.
Maybe we're seeing some early builds then. I don't know why
the only thing I noticed was the reflections in the wing mirrors. Was real-time reflections of the car and the outside of the car. That was the only part I've seen. But the guy was in cockpit view for the vast majority of the race that we watched. And then you said, "Well, show the outside."
I did tell him because I'm a dick, and I was like, I want to get this. I want Forza Erwin to get more views and let this see the SSR versus ray tracing. See, I did this for you. I did it for you. It should be your throat that sounds like this.
Well, I saw it in the morning already, right? They were showing off the Audi, and they actually did a lot of third person views. So I was glad that you asked it, of course, but I saw it in the morning already.
Okay.
But yeah, if you look at Forza 7 and all the other Forzas, even Horizon 5, the reflections, let's say, on the hood, when you have the hood cam, it looks absolutely fabulous. But it's SSR, right? But like I said, if it's ray traced, I couldn't really tell the difference because it's reflections. So tell me the difference then. But for me as let's say a sim racer, right? For me, I don't give a shit if it's ray traced or SSR or whatsoever. For me, the racing itself needs to be good. The physics of the car needs to be good. The physics translated to my direct drive view, that needs to be good. I don't give a jackass about how it's actually looking. Of course, it needs to be doable, but for me, the racing itself is important, and all the features that come with it. And if online is improved compared to the other Forzas, which was absolute trash with all kind of rammers and whatever, the ray tracing is totally not important. And I think also that people are expecting, let's say, the wrong things, maybe, I think, for motorsport. If you want all old ball cars or all kind of crazy things, please go over to Horizon or to Motorfest or to whatever game, right? And people say, yeah, it's boring, it's not innovative enough, right, against the other motorsports. And that's actually not true. Maybe on the circuit, but the circuits in real life, if you go there, it's also not so fascinating, right? There are people on the benches. There you see maybe a chopper going over. Maybe you might see some fireworks. Even that's banned as well. So if you go to a real-life track, it's also not that exciting. It's just cars racing on the track, and they need to do it as fast as possible. So I think also people's expectation about a motorsport game, they made it more to the more, let's say, I wouldn't say realistic, but more to the motor sport side of things, instead of actually having a gender issue. I think motorsport, because they tried to be Horizon for many years with all kind of limos and all kind of other crazy shit, while the hardcore sim racers were not waiting on all those kind of stuff, and now they actually going for a more motorsport version, which I think and also a big part of the community, which are on the Forza.net forums, are asking for fucking many years already. And they changed the creative director, going from Dan Greenwald to Chris Sasaki, and that guy really changed the studio and changed this whole game. And I have really high hopes. I think a lot of, let's say, things are check mark for me, right, that tick the boxes. Only the biggest concern that I have, if it's still improve on the force feedback. I got a fan effect.
And that's the point that you've told me. Yeah. You instilled the importance of this point.
Yes.
That the force feedback is so fundamentally important for people in the pro circuit about this thing. Because the success of this will determine how it's viewed in competitive sports.
You know, if you have maybe the chat also knows Super GT. He's a guy from the UK as well. I think almost have 800,000 subs. He actually started playing Forza and then changed over to Gran Turismo. But doing it on a wheel. Normally he couldn't play Forza on a wheel because it was absolute trash on the force feedback side of things. Forza Horizon 5 actually improved it a bit. But you see all those guys, Key 25, you have a bunch of other guys doing sim racing online, all on a wheel. And those attract so many people. And I think for the longevity of the game, especially in this the sim or simcade racers, let's say, the force feedback on the wheel and the physics that comes with it needs to be good. And they talk about it's now 8 points of contact on the wheel. The physics engine changed actually from 60 hertz to 360 hertz. And I did actually some research also, guys, because I'm a really nerdy since the internet came about, right? And always looking for info and whatever. But I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, like you porn as well. But Dan Greenwald actually told when Forza 2 was launching that the physics engine actually ran back in the day at 360 hertz. And I understood from the latest info that Chris Sasaki mentioned on the Forza Monthlies that they had the current engine, so the Forza 7 one, and then I assume the 6 and the 5 as well, were at 60 frames or 60 hertz, let's say, refresh rate. And I think the main reason why they went back from 360 to 60, I think it was because of the Xbox One. The Xbox One wasn't powerful enough. They still wanted to have the game run at 1080 60 frames per second. So I think on the physics side of things, they tuned down the physics engine to 60 hertz. That made the physics go bad, because they also had a presentation about what it does on the physics engine. If you go from 60 to 360 hertz, and also from 1 point of contact on a tire to 8 point of contact, it's riding over curb, it's way more smoother, and etc. So I think the Xbox One was actually really the one that tuned down the physics engine to 60 hertz, and now they're upping it to 360 hertz per second, and then also with the new point of contact. So the physics should be improved. Is it realistic? We still need to try, we still need to test, and also if it's good now on the wheel, I don't know.
So if the game is good on the wheel and this manifests itself, shouldn't this then dethrone most races? GT even? GT has its own academy.
Yeah.
Are Turn 10 angling for that? Because it's, to me, it seems abundantly clear that they're putting all their efforts into making this the definitive sim racer. I mean, I know sim racer can go very deep on the PC side, but as far as console and PC is concerned, seems like Turn 10 are really going for it, and they want to go. And when my conversations with you this last week, you seem quite confident that Forza might actually achieve that.
Yes, I think, always the comparison is between Gran Turismo and Forza or other games, right? People like to compare. They are both exclusive to a certain, let's say, console, or like Xbox with Game Pass and PC or whatsoever. But people like to compare, right? I think when Gran Turismo, what they do already for so many years, so good. If you look at those World Tour events, I don't know if you saw them. The latest one was a couple of weeks ago in Amsterdam. All the presentation that come with it, the way how it's being set up, racing, all with wheels also, and etc. The movie that has been made, right, the GT Academy for many years ago, they already, let's say, on a really high level, and it can be indeed maybe a little bit boring and whatsoever, but the racing itself, so the pure racing on a wheel, it's gorgeous. I love it a lot. Will Forza will be up to that standard? I think they're having a chance, and it's also due to the online part, because they now have the featured multiplayer, it's called, right? Where you have
what is it called? The multiplayer?
Featured multiplayer. So you have open racing series and spec series, and the spec series is really, let's say, more on the Gran Turismo side of things. So you can log in a certain amount of races. You do first free practice, you do qualifying, and then the main race. You have fuel strategy, you have tire strategy that you can change, you have dynamic weather that can change, and that's all balance of performance. So there's no tuning in the spec series. So everybody has a certain car.
Level playing field.
Yes, level playing field. So it's really up to your driving. If you go to the open series, there people can tune, they can update the car, whatever they want. And you can be, let's say, competitive on that part. And I think also with the driver and safety rating that is now finally implemented in the Forza game, then you can have A players that can be with A players, or even they go up to S, I believe. And you can have people that are only ramming. So people that will be rammers will only stick together because their safety rating will be shit. So they can play, they can ram everybody off in the first corner and whatsoever. So probably gas, that's maybe...
That's me playing Destruction Derby, basically.
Exactly, yeah. But the thing is, if you have that group mixed, you get a lot of frustration from the guys that just want to have serious racing. And that's where on a console, you have such a big divide in people how they want to play a racing game. I wanted to play serious. I want to be close and fair racing. And you probably want to be, let's say, bumper cars, right? And that's fair.
Why do you assume the worst of me? I want serious racing as well.
Well, I saw you on the show, and I know you know a little bit. For sure, you are more, let's say, on the bumper car side of things. No, that's of course assumption. But just to give an example, that there is a big divide in group who plays, let's say, a certain type of racing game. And I think with the driver and safety rating, this is something that can really play a good part. And Forza, I think, can really hit the nail on the head because they really divide themselves compared to a Horizon game.
Yeah, they are looking to define themselves here, and the game looked really good. And I was itching to play it. And Metomasius or Machias, sorry if I mispronounced that. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Because every Forza Motorsport game has got a demo before launch. Any word of a demo dropping soon for this new one? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
They will just completing the game, polishing it and whatsoever. You can have the premium edition 5 days earlier than the normal version, right? They focused fully on completing the game. And also what's nice to tell maybe that I forgot in all the other things that I said, sorry for being so detailed, but it's a live service game now also. So this Forza Motorsport will probably last for many years because you have monthly updates on the game with cars. They will add new tracks as well. So the same as Horizon does, every month you will get new cars added, and also the same as Gran Turismo does. iRacing is a little bit, I think maybe also on that one, but it's super expensive. You pay a monthly fee for that. You pay for your cars a lot of money, but it's a live service game. So every month you will get new content added to Forza Motorsport. Is it in the single player or is it, let's say, on the multiplayer side of things? Which I think is also keeping the game refreshing because they can add new tracks, new cars, and whatsoever.
Yeah, the live service is a bit hit or miss there. It can be good. Forza Horizon's done okay. Halo Infinite shows the pitfalls of that, although it seems to be doing quite well now. But yeah, no, thank you for that. And Forza Motorsport genuinely looks really good. Like your channel shows off the gameplay. I think you still will want to see it on a clear screen because you can just tell cars feel weighty. They feel nice. Yes. I'm excited to play this game.
It looked good. It looks smooth. The frame rate looks smooth. The details of the curbstones, very detailed.
Yeah, the road tarmac textures, all that.
Marbles on the track also. So you have your ideal racing line, right? And you see marbles actually next to the track, which you have in real life as well. And not to forget, on every single track there's dynamic time of day. There you can do 24-hour races as well. And that is also, as a racer, you have some circumstance. Today also at the Formula 1 at Zandvoort. Then it was raining, then it was dry, then it was raining again. Drivers changing tires, and that's what you need to do in Forza Motorsport as well. And that makes it exciting because this I think will be the best motorsport since Motorsport 4, let's say, or maybe the best in general. Yeah.
I think it'll be the best one in general. You can tell they took their time, went back to the drawing board. There's so many little features, like even the grid start XP experience points. If you want to take risk or reward, you want to go for
challenge the grid
at the bottom. Yeah,
challenge the grid, right?
Yeah, it's a good idea. Like, okay, I'll get more credits, but I'll start a little bit further back. And, I like those kind of touches, and it makes you think. And I like the idea of like having this affinity with your car. And apparently, it doesn't take that long to level up your car max level. About an hour or two spent on your car to level up. So look, for Forza, I will compare the two. Gran Turismo and Forza because I'm a piece of shit, but I'm very confident.
Of course, I will make videos about it as well, right? Side by side, and strong clicks.
That's it, man. Just swim in the sauce and the clickbait. No, but I genuinely like this rivalry. I think it represents the consoles individually, and I think Forza Motorsport is set to decimate Gran Turismo. I can't say that definitively because I haven't had my hands on with it. I want it to win. And I think it will win, but if it doesn't, we'll understand why. No, VR is a big point, and you come at Asa. I will defend my friend, even though he shits on me all the time. He is right. The VR is an important part. If it can lift up a sterile game like for Gran Turismo, then imagine what it could do for Forza. But we'll see.
But maybe in a future update, GT7 also didn't launch with VR directly out of the box.
Yeah,
to my knowledge. So they updated.
Hopefully PC gets some support. At least.
I think they really wanted to focus on the base game being good,
Yeah, which is fine.
And the same as not having drag racing at the start of the game. If it's the same with split screen, that whole discussion. And it's all assumptions on my side. But if you look at the amount of people that play split screen on Forza, or maybe use VR, or maybe do drag racing, that is maybe 5 to 10%, or maybe even less. Do you want
probably less
to bring that complete package and delay again the game, or just want to have the bases right, both on the single player and on the multiplayer, and then just release and do via future updates? Yeah, then Asa still needs to stick around with GT7 then. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, Asa, stick around for GT. Well, one day we'll get it.
Yes.
I've been asking since, Forza Motorsport 7 launched while VR was kind of had a fair amount of talk about it, and other games were doing VR. I've been asking for it in Forza Horizon 4, Forza Motorsport 7, and Forza Horizon 5 quite aggressively for quite a long time. So I have zero expectations that I'll be seeing the new one in VR in my lifetime.
Yeah, well, maybe it will. Maybe they'll change. I do agree with their tactic to get the base game running up and running. The stakes are high here because it's not just Forza; it's also Xbox's pedigree on the line, in my opinion. And I think they're set to deliver here, but without having actually gone hands-on. But let's see. KJ Wars, man, welcome. It's always nice to see someone become a member. So welcome to the familia. Sorry, my voice is gone. Otherwise, I'd be loud and obnoxious. I always am. Gunstar with a £5 super chat. I just refer to Digital Foundry to tell me what looks best. That's what a lot of people do. And more Xbox people would do it, in my opinion, if it turned out, the power narrative turned out the way they wanted to.
Yes, sir, I think that guys might need one of them just to sprice themselves a little bit.
What I don't need any more of that. What is it, wine? Nintendo the Otaku with a $5 super chat. Forza Horizon 6, and I agree with you here, Nintendo needs to go to Japan. Yes. It needs to lean into street racing. Yes. Cop chases maybe as a side mode. Drifting, which it has anyway. Also hire someone to fix the terrible soundtracks. I agree with him. Soundtracks used to be amazing. Forza Horizon 3 or 4, whichever one had Dusky, Ingrid for was it Duskies as the main title screen soundtrack was incredible, and now it's just been a bit shit.
That's not just Forza. Like Gran Turismo made a name for itself off of the music that it had when it came out on the PlayStation. It was part of a big movement on PlayStation because games up to that point had been aimed more at children with Mario and Sonic and all the rest of it, and then Wipeout and Gran Turismo and these came in with big hard hitting albums that people wanted to listen to, and that's not what Gran Turismo 7 has either.
Nah, bro, when I played for Gran Turismo, it was some stupid orchestral violin going what the fuck? Everything was locked off. All the sick hip hop things were locked off. I'm like, why would you put that? Why would you lock that off? Just so shit. I was so flaccid playing that game. Shab's inevitable with a £5 super chat. I think we would all be able to tell. I agree with you, Shabs. We would all be able to tell once Coalition gets Gear 6 on Unreal Engine 5. Hit that like button, everyone. He's right. The murmurs around the next Gears game from credible sources, by the way, is that Gears 6 looks mad. Jez, hold on. Harass him. I don't care anymore. He said it. Gears of War looks so sick. I think he's seen it.
But Hivebusters, guess. Hivebusters also looked absolutely fabulous already, right?
Hivebusters looks great.
Now you're a couple years already along the way. They are always ambassadors from the Unreal Engine as well, right? So it should look sick as fuck.
I think so. I'm very confident in Coalition delivering an outstanding looking Unreal Engine game. And it will probably perform really well as well for an Unreal Engine 5 compared to Immortals of Avium and Plague's Tale. Well, actually, that's not even Unreal Engine 5. I keep thinking it is.
Remnant 2 is the other one. So the ones that we've had for Unreal Engine 5, you've got Remnant 2 that performed, I think, pretty similar to the 720p profile. You've got Immortals of Avium, whatever it's called. I played it and I don't know how to say it, but that one 720p on consoles, upscaled and whatever. And they've spoken about the profiles for Lords of the Fallen as well. It's the next Unreal Engine 5 game, and that one they're talking about a 1080p base for that as well. So, and obviously the other one that's out as a sample is Fortnite, which isn't. It's showing that it's showing some flexibility in the engine because it is very much developer choice, and in all of the games that are running at these lower profiles, they are throwing the features in as hard as they can, and they do look pretty.
Yeah. They do look nice, man. Fortnite's slightly different. I know, I get it. It's not as visually intensive, but it still looks beautiful. But there are so many games now being built for Unreal Engine 5. The whole suite of CD Projekt Red's games, Witcher games, the new Cyberpunk game, all built on UE5. All of their games. Like, so, the stakes are high for console owners. And it's in their best interest that these developers get acquainted with Unreal Engine 5 and how that performs on consoles. We'll wait and see. But a lot of people are moving. Hey, if the new Halo engine is moving to UE5, this needs to bang. So we'll see. Corey Tidwell, thank you for the $5 super chat. Those are internal resolutions. No game should be running at native 4K. It's a waste of resources. I agree, Corey.
I agree.
Games should take advantage of DLSS and D-Batch's favorite word, FSR.
FSR. 3.0.
Where's FSR? Where's FSR? You always hear him say it. Sith Lord with a $2 super chat. Dutch making the rounds. Welcome back, Gaz. No, hi, Sith. And yeah, Dutch is like the village bicycle. Wraith with the $10. Everyone gets to go. No, I'm just kidding.
It's like a mental anus.
It's like a mental anus, but a more physical one. Oh, I'm sorry. Dutch. I don't know why you didn't do anything just of that. Right with the £10 super chat. So glad to see you're back and safe. The team back online super quick. Got my glass full. Cheers. Whilst gaming on D2 on one screen, D2 Destiny 2, and you on the other with speakers on. Shout out to you, man. MDMJT99ALQ with the $2 super chat. Game of the year. This has been crazy. This year has been crazy. This year is mad. I come back like from Gamescom and another game's got some mad. What was it? What's got some stupidly high reviews now? Came out this week. What came out this week? Armored Core, 88 or 89 meta. So we played that on me and Boxenberger managed to play that. 87 is on Metacritic. And I'm glad to see it had something on Steam, 150 or 130,000 consecutive players. Second highest from software consecutive players, like large. The game is doing really well, which is very surprising because Armored Core is a very niche game. I keep saying this. Elden Ring was supposed to be niche, but Armored Core is a niche game. This is a game where you spend ages just building and customizing your mech. You'll be in that menu screen doing it, and the combat alone, it's an acquired taste. But and Boxenberger's not here, but what Boxy said was, I don't know if you two gents managed to play it. Did you guys play it?
No,
we were playing Motorsport when you were playing that.
Yeah, because we had a choice, isn't it? Like we just split up. Like, we'll play Armored Core and you play this. And when I played, what Boxenberger was saying was that he was very surprised that this game was very easy to get into compared to other Soulsborne games or other From Software games. I tend to agree because whilst there's a lot of stuff on screen, it was pretty easy to get an idea of what this game was about. It took me a while to understand the dash mechanic. Like you boost and fly, you press left stick in, and you were like floating through. Square was to like dodge. It has all the kind of tropes of it. You assign your weapons, like there's finite amount of ammo. We had the conversation a few weeks ago about this game and how it looked, because someone was like, this engine is old and maybe needs to change, and perhaps some of the performance issues were so brought it about. People were like, why is this game doesn't look like it should be running on anything other than 4K, some 60 or whatever. But playing it in the flesh, I will tell you now, Armored Core 6 is actually a very nice, beautiful looking game in its own way. Yeah, it may not impress you in its raw visual fidelity, but one of the things that I think really enhances the visual quality, and this goes back to what you say, Ace. A lot of people have this very black and white interpretation of what constitutes a good visual game, and you were talking about it in the context of, I think, Forza Horizon and the movement of physics and things moving around and and interactivity, and all of that adds to the visual fidelity of it. And I think with Armored Core 6, and I was playing that, I was like, what makes this game look so good is its scale. The levels are huge. You can see into the distance, and they're multi-layered. So I was on this bridge, and I fell off, and I was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna die." Oh no, wait a minute. There's layers here, and there's another layer below it, and there's more mechs, and you can see like off to the distance, and I'm pretty sure you can go quite far. The game isn't going to be for everyone. Check out Gene Parks. Gene Park is a lovely guy, but he knows his games and he knows Armored Core. And he's going to explain it, like what the spirit of this game is about. Armored Core 6 looks like it's really good, and we were waxing lyrical about the prospect of this finally getting its more mainstream eyes on as a result of From Software's incredible pedigree and recent successes, and it's happened. Armored Core 6 is a critical success. Most people are talking about it. There was a big queue of people playing it. Well, initially, can we talk about this one thing, by the way? What the fuck? Gamescom, traders and press and content creators, everyone in Gamescom finessed that. Bro, there's bullshit. Gamescom, well, what are you doing? The public, they managed to finesse that, and they managed to get into on the day that was only relegated to press, traders, and content creators. Bro, we broke our backs to make this application. Well, I didn't really make our backs, but we did make this application.
It took a good couple of weeks to get sorted, yeah.
Bro, it was the piss take. These guys work for me now, by the way.
Yes, we're on the payroll.
Speaking of which, where's my check?
It's pro bono work. It's fine.
We are punished to be on also.
Yeah, I know you're punished here. That's
something going wrong.
Call me Elon Musk, man. I'm working you guys hard. That's how it is. No, but we got these gents are just happy to help. Under the GameOnDaily company banner, they're representing the same part of the company to get in there, and there was a lot of like checks, and they approved it, whatever. But what we didn't expect to see was a bunch of freaking filthy casual public people. No, I'm joking. But loads of people like
literally kids and families.
Kids. People in cosplay. I mean, Urban's like, oh, he looks like a trader. I remember him doing this. Oh, he looks like he's a trader. Oh, he looks like press. Like, what the fuck? There were thousands of people. Like, first it started quiet, and we were like, there's a lot of press in the world. Maybe this is saturated. Wait a minute. Why is that person dressed like a ninja? Why is that person dressed in Sailor Moon? What's going on? And there was even Kenshi from Mortal Kombat. And I was like, right, something is not right. And then the whole day just descended full of it's crazy, because I think it's important that we have those 2 days so we can cover the game, so you guys can all see it, because not everyone's going to turn up. But we can't cover those games because the lines are fucking huge. Everyone's open for everyone. It was a piss take.
Yeah, and it wasn't just us that noticed it as well, because the team Xbox noticed it, because they'd also got a lot of complaints from big press that were saying, listen, like, how can we cover these games when it's this busy?
Yeah.
They've noticed something went quite wrong. Usually they do what they're known as wild card tickets, where they give some people in the public the chance to attend a trade day, but certain things are blocked off until 12 o'clock. Like the Xbox booth was blocked off until 12 for only press, high level press, and then after that, then it's trade and creators can come in. But even then, they noticed, this is busy. Like, this is much busier than usual. This is over the top, yeah. And apparently they'd started letting general public in beyond 12 o'clock, which is what went wrong. And so they're not happy. I don't think a lot of them aren't happy with how the trade press day went, because people didn't manage to cover what they needed to cover.
Well, I hope they change that next year, because that was just taking the piss. But that was one thing you were talking about. Another game that I got to play and beat the shit out of Boxenberger on is Tekken 8. Almost 100. Tekken 8 looks incredible, by the way. The graphically, I know Asa, you said you weren't that impressed with Mortal Kombat, but I think it's on UE5. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's on UE5.
When did I say I wasn't impressed by Mortal Kombat? What are you talking about?
The visuals of... Oh, is it Street Fighter? I think it's Street Fighter you weren't impressed with the visuals of.
Before it came out, of the lot of them, I thought, Street Fighter was the weakest. It's actually really nice in person in front of you, Street Fighter. Tekken was really difficult at Gamescom, because the Gamescom Open Night Live, when they streamed it, was at the worst potato quality you could stream anything. So nothing looked good.
As always.
Yeah. And
But,
Tekken in particular was
no,
one
it
that's
looks
like,
good.
oh. In person,
looks
I'm glad
really
to hear
good.
it looks better. But
It was very good. It's probably better than Street Fighter visually.
But you managed to play, guys, because we Andrew and I, Wandering Dutch, tried to play it twice on different kind of setups as well. Every time our controller got screwed. But it looked indeed, from what we saw, the 10 seconds that we played before the game.
It looked the 3 seconds
good.
of me punching Erwin. I was like,
yeah.
And then the controller went off.
It was really good. The only thing, well, I guess it's not an issue, although I think with Tekken it might be more of an issue than Street Fighter, was the fact that, look, if you have played Tekken over the years, you will have mastered or even remember the combos. I remember the combos. Why is Yoshimitsu not in this game, by the way? I was trying to find it. Maybe it wasn't locked there, but I'll be pissed if Yoshimitsu's not playing.
You happen to say that exactly as Yoshimitsu was on screen, which is how you did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, he's there. I'm fine. Maybe it wasn't locked. Oh, I would maybe be a DLC character, knowing the way games are now. So, I remember combos even to this day, like from Tekken 2, Tekken 3. How I ended up playing Howrang because freaking Boxenberger picked Jin. It wasn't what I was like, what the frick are these moves? Then I realized the games, and I saw my mate Ben was playing against a random person. Shout out to Ben. And he beat the shit out of him. Was modern controls, which were I was initially skeptical about, but Street Fighter 6 actually became a feature that was quite inviting. And people could play it. It's good for people who want to button mash, don't take things seriously, but they're not completely out from the proceedings because they can enjoy it. But good skilled players will still destroy you or have a big advantage over you because they can fine tune their attacks. It's all about, whatever. But with Tekken, even though it was a very brief playthrough, so please take this with a pinch of salt, I felt like those modern controls might become balancing wise might be a bit of an issue because with Tekken, the balancing, in my older opinion, this is not pro player, this is not as tight. And I feel like you can cheese and annoy even like some good players with that. I couldn't change the controls, so me and Boxy were on modern controls. And I felt like it was a bit cheap the way I was like beating the shit out of it. But I knew Harang's combo, square, X, circle, or, down, circle, and then circle, then you press down, up, forward, X, circle, X. I remember I play Harang a little bit, but I was trying to do that, and that's one of the things. If you're a Tekken player, I haven't played Tekken in a long time, but if you're a big Tekken player, the feeling of pulling those combos is a big part of that appeal. I just couldn't feel that because there was a modern controls. But generally, I will say this game looks amazing. It feels really good. And if Tekken fans, you are swimming in the sauce with this game. I think this game is going to be brilliant. This year of gaming is incredible. So if you're a Tekken fan, look out for that. If you've not been lucky enough to be in the closed playtest that's been doing the rounds for a few weeks, you're going to fucking love this game anyway, by the way. This is going to be a good game. Tekken 7 is huge, by the way. In the esports scene, it is big. This game commands a lot of respect. Tekken 8, I think, is going to carry that forward, despite the fact that Street Fighter 6 is making dank memes.
Guys, did you play Killer Instinct?
Yeah, I played Killer Instinct a lot. I love
How does it compare between those games that you just mentioned?
Killer Instinct is very different, man. Killer Instinct and Tekken have a very big place in my heart as far as fighting games are concerned. Killer Instinct is a game that is much more pick up and playable, in my opinion, because with Tekken, you have to memorize combos, and you spend a lot of time in the practice menu memorizing combos and the timing of those combos. Bless you. And then you're going to get people who will just rail through. What happened? Why are you giggling like schoolgirls? What have I done?
He's like, no,
mental anus popping up again.
His mental anus was sneezing. Sorry, chat. Bless that.
His name is not.
It was coming out. It was coming out.
You mother bitch.
Oh shit. But yeah, no, Killer Instinct is very different, man. It's like very unique fighter in my opinion, the way it is with its combo system. It's more inviting, but I think there's definitely space for a new Killer Instinct.
They're going to upgrade. They're going to upgrade, right? I thought the studio was saying that they were working on an upgraded version, at least with
the back with another plan. They're going to upgrade it to 4K on the Xbox. They're going to keep going with it and do some more stuff. I tried it. For the longest time, I've been saying I reckon I would really enjoy Killer Instinct if I played it. And then I tried it recently after they made that announcement. I was like, I'll do a Sunday community stream of Killer Instinct. So I downloaded it and I thought I'll go through the basic mechanics so that I'm not a complete idiot when I go to stream this. And I really didn't like it. So I installed it before even getting to the Sunday. I was surprised though. I thought I would enjoy it, but I just do not get along with its counter system. I like a good counter system, but Killer Instinct just wasn't for me. So yeah.
And it's not VR, Asa?
Well, yeah, that too. I tried Street Fighter 6 in VR. It's interesting. Street Fighter 6 just sticks you. It doesn't make you the character. It just sticks you there so you can watch them and look around, and that's quite cool. But everything works in VR.
Debatable. Venomous Viper, thank you being a member for 19 months, man. Because I can't believe I had to put up with Gaz's shit for 19 months. When are we going to play some games in the CST zone? Why is the CST zone? Central something time. CST time zone. What is that?
Central Standard Time.
Oh, in America. Soon, man. We need to do it, man. I need to play Sekiro. Fuck. Lord Roughness with a £5 super chat. My Forza soundtrack is always amazing because I turn off game music and run Spotify while I race. Xbox has had this feature since Forza Motorsport 5.
Fair point.
That's fine. That's okay. But I think there's a lot of value of them actually nailing the soundtrack themselves. We'll just wrapping up we'll wrap up on this point. Ladies and gentlemen, Forza Owen has played Stalker 2. And Forza Owen's own words were, the game looks like shit.
Yes.
Go for it.
It actually did. Everybody saw those trailers, right, that were being announced on multiple shows, E3 and before that. And it looked absolutely fantastic. Particle effects and graphics looking high resolution and whatsoever. And Bodyburger or Boxenberg and I went. We actually got early access on the Xbox booth, so it was invite only. And luckily enough, I get to know some people on the Xbox over the last couple of years. So they said, "Come on over, just come on the booth." So we were actually having the presentation of Forza, and then we went to Stalker 2. So we got a very decent amount of time of playing it, 50 minutes or so.
Oh, but wow. Actually, 15 minutes.
15, yes. Good. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was with the mouse and keyboard, which, sucks donkey D, but there was no other option. But I got the hang of it quite quickly, and Boxenberger, of course, as well. But his opinion and mine was actually quite different. But
it looks really good, and you think it looks really shit.
Yeah, so I was like, did you saw the trailers, Boxenberger? Because I saw the trailers and I had very high expectation graphics-wise. And then I was playing it, and it was like, I wouldn't say a Roblox game, but it was not that impressive, to be honest. And the gameplay-wise, it's okay. The AI I didn't find that super intelligent. They were actually quite predictable as well. So my impression, the first impression of the game, it still needs a lot of work. And I think that's also the reason why they didn't announce a release date, right? Everybody's waiting for that I think for months or maybe a little bit longer. We all know that during the war, I believe it's a Ukrainian developer as well, that they have some issues. And that's fair enough. Feel very sorry for those guys to be in that situation. But I think graphics-wise, at least the version that I played, man, I'm not that impressed. It looks less than PUBG on consoles, for example.
Jeez, well, that's a bit extreme. Yeah. But I will be in your defense. I said it a few weeks ago. If all the games I wanted to play the most, Gamescom was this. Fucking queues were disgusting because of traders. But the fact that you said that shouldn't even be a factor in the conversation. In Boxenberger's opinion, and Boxy, if you're watching this, apologies if I'm not recalling this correctly, you said it looked nice, but Stalker 2 isn't angling for nice in these trailers.
Beautiful. Look those
Yeah, it's an angling for jaw-dropping, best-in-class almost visuals.
And that was not it, really. Seriously. No, we got a nice plate. We got a nice plate, after playing. So maybe Boxenberger was impressed by that. So with the display,
are you suggesting Boxenberger is a fickle? Actually, yes. I think there's some substance to what you said, because when we were getting to Xbox Fan Fest, I was already inside because I just blagged a gang inside, and then I didn't know what was going on. And I had to come back out, signed out. And Boxy was like, "Oh, you signed out and in again? You're a cheeky bugger. You are trying to get the Xbox Goodie Pass?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Boxy Burger?" It's like, "You want to get the Xbox Goodie Pass?" I actually got it here. I haven't even opened it. This is sorry, Boxer Burger, if I keep butchering the German accent. But
do you not want your Minecraft trading cards?
Well, I'm opening it right now.
To be fair, guys, I don't want to be disrespectful, because everything that everything that you get, you cannot complain about. But if I compare to previous FanFest, this was not the best. Also on the stands that you play, normally you get some goodies and stuff like that. Hardly any good shit, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, wait, hold on. I'll fight back on that. Apart from these trading cards, these are thick, actually.
These are expensive as well, I saw. So
really,
I think nobody really wants them.
I got some stickers. Starfield.
They're for nails.
Elder Scrolls Online. If someone wants to claim this, I don't play it.
I have maybe another code as well. Yeah, if somebody wants.
Okay, look what I got from Xbox. From the merchandise store. I had to carry this from all the way on the flight, which was fucking annoying. Slightly not gaming. I got my girlfriend into Naruto, and look at this. This is acrylic base Kakashi. Yeah, it looks better in real life. But this is that. And I also got myself a little Master Roshi one. Listen, because if you know your anime, he's a legend. These look so good in real life. Oh shit! But the camera, they don't look as good. But look at this, Rev. He looks like a badass. He looks like a
tattoos and his cigarette and.
Looks.
I will get the Stalker 2 one as well. Just give me a second.
Oh shit! Were you showing stuff? Sorry, I didn't even realize. Apologies. But yeah, it's good, man. These, and I saw cut myself. These things are dangerous. Fuck! I did it again. I saw other people on the plane who were carrying it. I was like, these things were amazing. I'm not a fan for merch, but I'll tell you right now, if you're one of those go to this event, the merch line was insane. There were so many.
The merch room was insane. The merch room was absolutely ginormous.
Bro, it was huge. I took a video of it. I'll try and push it on GameOnDaily. But the merch room, there's a wall of. There it is. That's where Boxenberger sold for.
It's a nice aluminium plate, right?
Yeah,
by display.
This plate. I think there's a code. Maybe I can share the code for some of the viewers in the chat. That's maybe now, because there's a 30% discount off. So if somebody wants to grab it, well, there you go.
Oh shit! There you go. I've also got. I met one of the World of Tanks developers who was staying at the same hotel as me, and he gave me this. I don't have it here. This thick metal plate. I was gonna give it. I'll give it to you in chat maybe next week.
I thought we used this. I thought we used this, guys. What the
hell? We were supposed to do it before the app, or not after. It's too late now. But yeah, man, it's like the merch wall was insane. But what I found funny is this is gonna get me in trouble. Don't even say it, guys. You get yourself in enough trouble. It's not that bad. What am I talking about? There was a pretty sizable person, typical your gaming nerd with the glasses and everything, and we were waiting for buy a merch, and this guy's huge, and he bought all the hentai shirts, my favorite waifu, everything. And he's just there, and just mounting them, including a pillow. I was like, I wanted to be a dick and just record that. I would blur his face out. I was like, this is the market. But then I realized I'm that person. No, I'm not that person. But I just found it funny. I was like, yo, man, you are not ashamed of buying all these hentai shirts. Quasi hentai. They cover the nipples and stuff. Have waifu and all of this in public. And he did it boldly. All the power to you, man. You don't need pricks like me to be judgmental. If you like that shit, you like that shit. I'm being a dick. I just realized that. But yeah, man, it was King Thrash. It might have been. Did I? Oh, Calorie in the chat says, did we play Towerborn? I did,
yes.
and I didn't like it. Well, it wasn't working. You did?
Yeah.
I played a little bit.
It was co-op as well, by the way. So if you didn't have anybody with you, that's probably why it felt a bit weird.
The co-op didn't work. He said the crossplay because he had PC and Xbox, and he said that maybe that is why he didn't think German accent. That's why, because of crossplay. Me and my friend were trying to play it, but
me and Boxy played it, and the split, the multiplayer was working fine. It was only the first level. Press got access to the open world and a few more levels and things for them to play. So, which is why Jez's kind of opinion's even higher, because he's played not the booth version, he played the better one.
Very briefly, I'd say like a minute or two, and I just like it didn't hit me. The feeling of the controls was weird. You know, when you jump and slash. Yeah. It was just like we played all the way through that level and then beat the boss at the end of it. But it was quite good. Once you got used to the controls, because the controls were a bit finicky at the start, you get used to your powers, and each one of them's got a special power. But it was all of it's hand painted and hand drawn. It's on a 3D plane. I did actually manage to have a 45-minute conversation with Arne Jorgensen, who's the co-founder of Stoic, at the booth as well on the third day. And he was talking about kind of the game and what it's doing. So the entire world and map and everything like that changes every season. And it works on a seed basis. So they've got it dialed down now where it generates an entire new world every season based on seeds. So all the team's got to go into it, just go into it, kind of tweak a few things, add a few things here and there, and then just roll out an entirely new world. So it's never going to be the same. It's always going to change every season. And their plans is to kind of support the game for 5 to 10 years. With additional content and new maps every season. Okay. So a lot to it. There's a lot to it. It's kind of like a Battle Crashers meets Monster Hunter. And Microsoft were actually, and Phil Spencer and Aaron Greenberg, they mentioned Towerborn quite often in any game. They mentioned first party as well. Not first party, but generally. So
I will say as well about Arnie, because speaking to him, he was like, I don't want to be this huge mega game. I just want to release a good game that people like playing, and Xbox really want, because Xbox, he said, and we asked the question, how much do they support you, and he's like, a lot. Maybe he's a little bit too much, because we want to just push out this great game which is almost done and almost good to go, and Xbox just keep coming back with, okay, so why don't we add this, and why don't we do this, and why don't we do this?
That's really good to see that exciting.
But I just want to release a good game first, and then we'll think about adding all this.
There might be Xbox doing a lot of what we've said for ages that they don't do. It's like being nice version of quality control, just suggestive improvements.
Is it a second party title?
So we asked that question as well. So we're for this release, it's classed as first party because they are technically a third party. They're not owned by Microsoft, but they are going under Xbox Game Studios publishing. So they're treated in the development cycle like they are first party. So all the benefits of first party are offered to them. So,
but then it's officially second party. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second party, first party publishing.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of variety there on the Xbox booth.
Yeah.
It was very different. Racer, there's Stalker, and I'm intrigued now by Stalker.
Cyberpunk, Armored Core.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners had a fat queue.
Phantom Liberty.
Queue.
Yes.
Yeah, Phantom Liberty. I want to play that again. It was playable. And I couldn't play it. But shout out to Danny Snowick, who is watches the show and he had a Source shirt on. And he came onto the convention. Obviously, that day he didn't have it. I missed him the first day, but he was such a nice guy. And Danny was saying that they tried to play Cyberpunk, but but they couldn't because the lines are big. Hype for Cyberpunk is high, and it should be because it's going to be essential relaunch for the game. It fundamentally changes the gameplay mechanics of even the base game. So I'm very excited about this game. The hype is there.
Yeah. The trailer that they showed at opening night live was also very impressive, Drew, when we were there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very. Yeah, everything I've seen from the game. The good thing about it as well is with Cyberpunk's Phantom Liberty update is all the weapons and the new cars and all of that type of cosmetic stuff to the game is going to be added free to the base game on launch of Phantom Liberty. So you're not going to miss out. So if you don't want the expansion or can't play it because it is just for Series X and S, at least all the weapons and cars that are added to the expansion are coming to the previous gen. So people don't miss out on that. What they do miss out on is the story expansion. I think that's a good trade-off. Okay, yeah, you can't have the story expansion because technically some of the stuff that we're doing here is a little bit pushing the boat out. And it was anyway. We saw that when the game launched. It almost was. It was unplayable on previous gen.
Last gen, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it was completely unplayable. So you don't want to hold that back anymore. So I think that's a good happy medium. We can't give you the story expansion because the world does some crazy stuff, but you can have the weapons and the armor and the vehicles and things that we've put into it. So it's a good. I think it's a good trade-off.
Absolutely, man. I mean, in fact, I view that as generous and a good. They can't afford the PR hits, but generally, the ambition is always going to be met with just like less resistance, typically, because you're like, all right, you guys are going out of your way to do something, and who does this? Who goes back?
And I think I was going to say, even just to add to that as well, I think Ace will be happy to jump back into what is now probably the best looking version of that game after it, because it's still now probably one of the best that Ace has played on PC in terms of the implementation of ray trace and everything when it's at full tilt.
It's a fascinating showcase of what that technology is and what it can be. And obviously, NVIDIA are upping the game on that one as well with their new DLSS update to make ray tracing prettier than ever. I've been playing Cyberpunk relatively recently. I did various videos on it, so I played it in bits and pieces to capture it and see just how bad it was in various versions and when it was fixed. It was, I would say, fixed to a very good stay in their 1.5 release, which is when it re-released on PlayStation. It's been incredible to play, but as I've been playing it for the sake of playing a game for my own enjoyment, I've been streaming it and things like that. Certain things were like, oh, I really like this game, but the perks are boring as shit. And certain things are still rough around the edges. And so the stuff that they're delivering in the update, if you ignore Phantom Liberty and just look at the stuff that they're putting in their 2.0 update, so the police chases, the revamped perk systems, the combat enhancements, and all of that kind of stuff, that alone looks freaking awesome, because it is a fantastic game overall. It really is a fantastic game overall that obviously had lots and lots of launch problems. And a fantastic tech demo as well. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to... Yeah. It's difficult because there is so much this year to be saying I'm going to play Cyberpunk in October. I'm still going to be playing Starfield and Baldurs Gate and all the rest of them. So it is very difficult, but Cyberpunk with its 2.0 update as a game, if you ignore the passage of time and just look at these side by side, is going to be up there with them as a brilliant one.
Yeah. I see a lot of chat just wants to know about Starfield. What the fuck do you want us to say? I can't talk about it.
He's pissed off. He's pissed off as well.
What are you two gents? Let's talk about it. Yeah. Talk about Starfield.
Okay, well, I'm going to let Erwin go first, actually, because this has convinced Erwin to buy something that he probably didn't think he would end up buying.
Yes. Yeah, and I saw that Peter in the chat was getting pissed off because we were backslapping people instead of talking about Starfield. So indeed, let's go ahead. Let's please Peter.
Calm down, Peter.
Calm down, Peter. But here we go. Yes, but no. So normally I'm not so into this type of games, but since the developer direct, somehow it triggered me. Somehow it got me a hook. And we were lucky to see the presentation. Also, Todd Howard later on the show came on. But we saw a big chunk of of the start of the game, right? And what I do like very much is the whole setting that you're playing a movie. With the music, that is in the background, the atmosphere, the graphics.
I'm just gonna add some ad libs, so don't just carry on, and I'm just gonna add ad libs.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the mental. Yeah, and the draw distance. It
Draw
looks,
distance.
Yes, the gunplay.
Gunplay.
I have to say, like he did, gunplay.
Gunplay.
But that combination of all factors around made me want to buy the premium edition just to play earlier. But the whole freaking atmosphere gave me goosebumps during the presentation.
Atmosphere and goosebumps, apparently. But atmosphere.
Goosebumps, chicken skin, right?
Chicken skin. Oh, wait, we're getting confused.
But I came away quite impressed. I think everybody doesn't really know how good it really will be, I think. But it looks promising as fuck.
He says it looks promising as fuck. Not me. He said it.
Yeah.
He's right. No, and me may be wrong. I've seen a lot of discourse on Starfield on the internet. A lot of people are like out of their way, fanboys, but out of the way to hate on it. And I find it fascinating. I had a play. I consider him a friend. We never met, but he's on the PlayStation side squarely, and he reached out to me because, Gaz, should I hold back on being a bitch about this game? I said, yeah, but I didn't. Doesn't mean because the game is good. I just said, might want to hold back on it based on what Starfield looks like, and they showed off behind closed doors and the first few missions.
Yeah.
Yes, based on that, wink.
I don't know what to do. I mean,
Drew, help him out. Your experience, Drew.
Talk about it.
Go on, Drew.
So the opening section. What we saw in this 20-minute demo, of course, as Erwin mentioned, there was 2 shows that day. One John got into, one me and Erwin got into. That Todd was there for as well to talk about something else after the Starfield segment. But that segment, that opening 20 minutes, was the first 2 hours of the game, kind of compressed to give you a good understanding as to what the story is doing, so you can understand it. But
mental anus kicks in.
Yeah, these mental anus kicking right in. For fuck's sake.
That was fucked up even for me. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, mate. I think Gaz you can speak on the atmosphere and the detail that was shown, but the level of detail that was in that game was significant jump, I think, for a Bethesda title. On the outfits and the uniform, on the environment, and then, as we mentioned, the lighting and the global illumination in that game is just outstanding. It really sets the atmosphere off. But Erwin mentioned then you add the music into it as well, and the music coupled with the atmosphere and the way that they've got the lighting and how they present the game in itself is honestly, it's one of the better intros, if not the best intro to a Bethesda title I've seen. We all remember Skyrim because Skyrim's a meme now, where you're waking up on the thing, etc. But there wasn't really an intrigue or a mystery behind that. It was just a case of, okay, we've woke up with character trait, I go to this village, you fight a dragon, okay, we escape, and then the game starts. This one's really building something at the start. It's like showing you, okay, well, you're a miner and you go and you just do your regular mining job, and then you have to go and investigate this anomaly in the cave when you're mining, and then the game kicks off. But it's the level of detail you see straight away on all the characters, the uniform, the badges and everything. It's really impressive, really impressive. Then you see
synchronizing as well, true.
Yeah, lip sync was really good. I mean, they've still got the dead eyes. I don't know how they haven't figured out the dead eyes yet, but the lip sync for the characters was good.
Voice acting as well.
Voice acting's good, yeah. Voice acting, the lip sync, really good. Really good, but the dead eyes, I don't know how they need to fix that at some point.
There's a creation engine quirk that goes into it. It is. It's just like, that is an issue of a lot of the creation engine. It's just like, I think
it's not a creation engine quirk as such. It's the fact that they're not doing mocap for all of it is where the quirk comes from. So it's very difficult to do a face using the technology they've got, and it's really impressive the way that they can. Like, you're talking about lip sync, and there is no actual lip sync. This is all animated from the voice only. They've not motion captured their faces. So what they're doing is really, really impressive. That allows for voice in a game of this scale. So it's a little bit harsh to call it a creation engine quirk, I would say, when creation engine is actually what's enabling a lot of good stuff there.
Some of the dead eyes, but it's the same engine. When you play the game, you can tell the legacy of the old games is there. It's the same engine. But
so there's an old meme. I'm going to ask anyone but Gaz, because Gaz might get in trouble for answering. There's an old meme around the creation engine that it can't do ladders. You can't go up and down ladders. And there's been stuff going around at the moment that in this one, there's loading screens when you move to different parts of the ship and go up ladders and things. Is that true from what you've seen, Erwin and Dutch? Does the Creation Engine 2 still not handle ladders?
Whoa, that's a good one.
Did we see ladders?
Yeah,
I don't think in that opening I don't think in that 20-minute demo we saw any ladder movement. I don't think we saw any ladders.
Not on the ship as well when you move up the ship?
I know the answer to this, but I can't say anything.
Did you see much in the way of load screens? Well, it's the ladders themselves aren't the big deal, but the conversation around it is load screens because people expected everything to be pretty seamless.
But the only load screen we saw was just the one, because obviously we know you can't land and take off, and they showed that, of course. The transition was seamless. It was like less than a second. Like you've got a little mini animation of the craft taken off, and then 2 seconds later you're in space, and that's it. It's not even 2 seconds. It's like a second later you're in space, and then that's the next segment. But they didn't.
I'm seeing a lot of this being weaponized on both sides. Like some downplaying it, some are really exaggerating it, and the reality is like somewhere in the middle. It's not big ladders. I'm just thinking back. I don't think that was an issue. But I'm trying. There's not a definitive answer. I may be wrong here, but people are focusing on the wrong things there.
Yeah,
but no, there's like in terms of load screens, there was zero present. I mean, the only one really was the load screen to the opening segment where you touch the artifact and then you do your character creator. But that's more of a cinematic-y kind of segment there as it is a load screen.
So I understand.
There's a lot of people just
load screen
really quickly, guys. Just the reason that I bring this up, ladders, people are saying like, who cares about ladders? Don't talk about ladders. I'm asking specifically because people are like, certain segments are trying to weaponize the idea of load screens and it not being seamless and saying, oh, you can like, and Dutch just touched on it on the planets and things. So there's another game around that people like to compare Starfield to that lets you seamlessly travel wherever you want and go wherever you want. So people are weaponizing that. And I'm just curious for those that have seen more of it than I have, like if it is actually something that's intrusive or if this is just silly talk.
No, it's silly talk. So in terms of getting on off planets, if you compare it versus the No Man's Sky, which is obviously what the weaponizing is going on about, the issue you got with No Man's Sky is because it's essentially real time travel to a planet. Is you could spend especially if you run out of hyper jump, you could spend the next 20 minutes just trying to get onto the floor on the planet. Just like, this is so slow. And then you're driving down, then you have to land, then you have to park it, etc. And that whole segment there it can be, for some enthusiasts, really immersive. But when you're trying to build a really immersive story world or open world RPG, I think it doesn't really matter whether or not you land in a craft or not yourself.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that point. I disagree with that. And I like the seamless thing. We all know that Starfield doesn't have it. On the basis that this is an established fact, I will say that I feel like it's a missed opportunity. It could be finessed in other ways. You saw the public thing, how it, the little third screen, but
from my experience, guess. From my experience, at least from what we have seen, it was quite instant. It was quite smooth. It was not something that you get frustrated about, right? Not knowing all about the ladder stuff of just going blanco in like I did. Dude, you asked the question, Ace. I was like really thinking like, what did I miss something or whatsoever, right? Yes. Because the transition seemed just smooth and it looked good. It didn't give me any question marks or whatsoever.
So they're weaponizing because thingy seemed No Man's Sky is not doing things even remotely on this level, by the way. But in terms of just fidelity and just RPG depth and all of that. But I will say that I do feel there's a utility there. I feel like if Starfield had it, it would. In fact, when you went to see Todd Howard, I would have actually asked him about this. My question to him would have been only this, because you're there, you don't want to be a dick and take up his time. He's spoken to a trillion other people. You want to ask him a question that's poignant, and I would have said, "Don't you think it's a bit of a miss to have these kind of seamless transition, even dressed up in an animation that's more, let's say, first person?" Because I really liked, for me, Elite Dangerous is a game that I really go back to switching to frame shift drive, boosting up manually. It could have been an animation like in Starfield, but you just boost it up yourself, press the buttons, and then you activate enough velocity and then the thrusters and you go into that. And my question would have been like, it feels like I'm so sorry, chat. I'm going to the limits of what I'm allowed to say.
I understand people. I understand people want the ability. Some segments want the ability to fly off planet and land on planet themselves. They want the manual approach, but I think when you're talking, as you said as well, Gaz, this game does it. This game on a scale that is well beyond. No Man's Sky and the fidelity of the world, and the fact that they are entirely different games. As much as people like to compare them, yes, they're both space games, but one is a survival game, which happens to have space travel and crafting. The other one isn't. The other one is an open world RPG that happens to be based around space and then have space combat and crafting and base mechanics.
I get the disingenuous comparisons, but I think you can't completely remove No Man's Sky because of the similarities in the mining and the exploration of it. But
the solution that they brought is just good enough, so to speak. To my humble opinion, you can always
for the mass market. You've got to think as well, mass market. Like Erwin's saying, for a mass market, No Man's Sky was pretty niche.
Yeah, and
Starfield
like I said, some people will pick that apart.
Yeah,
but my advice. Well, I say advice when people play the game, they will just whatever. Like
it's not a deal breaker or whatsoever. I mean, it's just a matter how the game is being developed, most likely. Because of the skill and whatsoever, being a noob as I was with this whole stuff, I really didn't notice anything, guys. I think it's it's not even worth mentioning, to be honest. Just play the game, fly to the planet, and when you're on the planet, then the story begins, right? It's not about traveling or landing your plane on a small island or whatsoever.
For me personally, I would love that. I would love that personally. Most people would not care. Most people don't look at, like, for me, it's so nerdy. It's such a quirk for me to go like that little animation. What does that look like? What does the trail look like? But I do not expect other people to care about that. But we talked about this in several months ago, not even in the vein of maybe Starfield, about that nerdy obsession that I have with going frame shift drive. There's a lot of, I've seen it on both sides, massive defense, like instantly, like almost like a cult-like thing, and then a cult-like hatred for it. Where the game lands, we'll see. But it's like, come on, man! Like, I don't even fucking can't say anything. It's a gift and a curse. I can't say anything, chat. And it's
the only thing about the seamless landing is the thing that I'm missing a little bit already. Is that I know that if it was enabled, if it was in the game, if you could fly down to a planet and land wherever you wanted, I would definitely go into a conversation with an NPC. They'd say something I don't like, and I'd be right, wait there, and get in my spaceship, and I'd fly it into their face. And that option has been taken away from me, but that's probably going to save me a lot of in-game currency.
Yeah. That would be nice if you could do that.
As a counter, though, you seamlessly into space, and you've got the awesome space combat, which looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It looks like they've really nailed the space combat. The flying around, and again, you can still traverse manually to every planet if you really want to. But I mean, you're going to use the hyperdrive to get to those planets 9 times out of 10 because they're miles away, and you really don't want to be flying to them. You can select it, and of course, you've got the fast travel option. But I also like how they kind of limit you to the point where until your craft gets better, you can't go further and further afield. You can go to an X amount and then upgrade your craft and then go to that far reaches of the galaxy, because of course there are 1,000 planets in the game and 100 handcrafted, which people keep talking about. Plus now they've also confirmed after the fact that modders can create planets and stories. Yes, they can create planets, they can create stories, they can create quest lines. They've opened all that up to modders, so basically this game is infinite.
Wow. Like, that sounds impressive. And I can't wait for everyone to play this game and share their thoughts on it, good and bad. Because I think with any game, you're going to have... between all the bullshit and console war, which I'll obviously be in front lines of because I'm a prick, but behind all of that, the sincere discussions about what Starfield does right and wrong will be quite interesting to observe. But
to kind of give a good understanding, because obviously it's all well and good us doing it because we talk about games 24/7, but it's a good understanding as to the public feel of this, like that. The Starfield booth was absolutely bouncing every time that game was showed off.
Bro, we were at the front lines, luckily, because Dutch is an very smart man. He said, guys, let's get up in there before the 12 o'clock gates open up. Let us go a bit early. And just happened to be, just as we stood there, the line formed massively behind us. So we were right at the front. And I shared that video of people just... And I mean, the video didn't even do it justice, because after that video ends, there more people like just going than moving to the Starfield booth. They just ran to Starfield, even though it wasn't playable. It was behind the scenes, closed door thing. There were other games that were playable, the other booths that were playable. They went straight to Starfield. And I didn't expect that. Well, I kind of did, but not to that volume. And you talk about marketing. My God, there was marketing for Starfield everywhere. There was, and I filmed it on my camera. It's like I didn't have my strap. I was carrying this thing and lost my car for like 2 hours, my friend's car. And we're just walking around. So ended up blisters on my feet, just walking around. And I just kept seeing Starfield ad, Starfield ad, Starfield ad. Big billboard on a moving vehicle, under a bridge, one next to Spider-Man and Starfield happened to be advertised together. Quite a lot of places. So yeah, man, like
every time it was showed off, the crowd would go absolutely nuts. You knew when Starfield was like the Starfield presentation was shown, because the crowd was just going bananas. Like massive round of applause when it was starting, massive round of applause when it was ending, and it was every time a new group went in, it was exactly the same. It was like, that's just nuts. You could tell. Like miles away in the hall, you were like, oh, there's another one starting.
Yeah. The people are backing Starfield really, really hard. People are very hyped about Starfield. People just talking generally, the general public can talk. I should have done a little bit more interviews. My microphone wasn't working when I bought, but it's just, people are excited about Starfield. Germany knows about Starfield. Germany is very PlayStation-centric. But when I was talking to a lot of people, they did say, like, look, the Game Pass came into the conversation a lot. Like, yeah, but I have Game Pass. And Starfield. Everyone was talking about Starfield, constantly Starfield. Starfield was and I'm not just saying this, Starfield was the highlight of the show for a lot of people. They kept just talking about Starfield. Do
you think it will be bigger than Halo is for Xbox?
Yes.
Yeah, at the minute, yeah. I think Halo's took a backseat there big time.
I think this will be bigger than Halo Infinite will be for Xbox this generation, unless Halo Infinite does something massively different. There'll be several reasons why, which I can't get into, but I think Starfield will be bigger than Halo Infinite.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. This is what Xbox are really kickstarting everything with. To be honest, I think this is something that they are absolutely putting all their eggs in this basket for this game, and I think they're super confident about it. Like really confident about this game. The fact that, of course, the reviewers specifically, having had this game for what is now a couple of weeks by the time it goes into early access, it's a significant amount of time, and I think all the reviewers think that as well. It's like we've got quite a bit of time to get through this.
They've got plenty of time. Apart from me, we've been at Gamescom, so I've been being salty as hell because I've missed out on big chunks of playing. Everyone's like, "Oh, guys, did you go to see the Starfield booth?" I'm like, "I'm playing it," but just like there's no reason for me to go there. But I think it'll be big for Xbox. Even forget the quality issues aside, I think it's just the way it's landing, the expectations are, and the marketing, and really marketing is a big reason why there's a lot of noise. And now we're seeing it. We said it. We were complaining about it. Where's the marketing? And the marketing is doubling up, and people are talking about Starfield. I'm not saying that they're linked like together exactly. I can't confirm that, but Starfield could be the game that changes the face of Xbox's like fate, like completely, like its perception in the general public, as PlayStation doubles down and really does tremendously well in terms of sales. But I genuinely don't know what will happen. You never know. The reviews come out and I could be like, oh, it could be really high, like 95 plus, and I'll be surprised. Oh, maybe. Or it could be really low, and I'll be very surprised. Maybe. I don't know. I'm being serious. I genuinely like.
I know it's going to be hard for you to answer this, Gaz, because obviously you are playing it. You have that opportunity. Where do you think it will land? I
can't answer that. I can't answer that question. That's basically a review.
You know, but like ignoring what you've been playing though, where do you think it's going to land based on what you've seen at Gamescom?
Based on what I saw at Gamescom, which I just admitted I didn't even bother going to watch at Gamescom. Look, Xbox fans, just if you're looking forward to it, look forward to it. PlayStation guys, do whatever you need to downplay it.
Shut up, hippie. Like, give us a number.
I can't give you a number. I just can't. And I really want to chat.
It was a gap
guilty for some reason.
Where do you think it will hit between? As a general public, where do you think it's going to hit between?
I'm not doing that. That's
come on.
No, Alana Pierce, Alana Pierce broke her NDA easily.
Oh, she didn't. She said it's going to be a game. You need to read closer.
Oh, really? Well, doubling on what Alana Pierce said very tactfully, she said it's going to be a game. Then I also agree it's going to be a game. A game. But yeah, we'll find out soon, chat. We'll find out soon.
I think because the game is so big, right? It probably will end up around low 90s. Because then there's always something to complain, right? When it's such a huge game. By some mechanics
like
or maybe,
just my guess. I feel like there'll be a lot of reviews. This is always the case with most big games, but you will get some salty reviews.
Exactly.
I think you'll get.
I think even with those salty reviewers, it doesn't hit less than 89, and I think if things go more favorably for Xbox and Microsoft, then that game could be. As Erwin said, early 90s, 92, 93, maybe higher.
For me, at this stage, it doesn't even matter for me personally enjoying it. Well, it never should for the enjoyment of the game. It never should.
Yeah, but you know how it goes,
it doesn't.
Right? People want to give their opinion about the score, right? Because if it's 89, it's trash.
Yeah.
But it's 90, it's still not good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. If it's 89, it's trash. 89 is like, okay, really whatever. Oh, now you got 90 meta. To me personally, like playing this game is done enough for me to say, all right, the noise will be one way. It'll be like funny to serve crow on the ponies. The other way, it'll be like to eat crow if that happens. But generally, I'm. Oh my god, I almost broke it. Anyway, fuck this topic. Corey Todd did roll with the fight.
Almost got him.
You guys know it, man. You did. Nice try, Dutch. Thank you.
You like it, I guess. You like it. You like it.
Phil,
I
Uncle
think you've
Phil,
broken
can I
the
not
pressure.
just say if I like it or not?
Put on the podium. Put on the podium and say it.
Yeah, it's still packed up. It's in the suitcase.
Oh man, the podium was gorgeous.
I know, bro. When I went through security, obviously the Asian guy with the big backpack, I would stop myself because I looked really rough and just weird, and I just had all this stuff, and I was really dodgy looking because my friend was doing some dodgy stuff, which I want embellish on. But as we went through security, the guy's like, "You." Here, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm used to this. It's like the TSA all over again. And then he opened the bag, and the first thing that comes out is the pony hat.
Cosplay.
And then they started laughing at me. I'm just like, I'm in a place where you're gonna have like some man dressed up like Sailor Moon, and you're laughing at me because I have a pony hat in my bag. It's just. To be honest, it was funny because the way it came out, it was just like this head just came out. It perfectly came out through the bag, and it was so comical the way it came out. Everyone just burst out laughing. They didn't even check the rest of the bag, thank God. And then I walked through. I didn't have any drugs.
No,
I didn't. But yeah, no, it's yeah. Corey Tidwell with a £5 super chat. Guys, let us know in Starfield after you romance, can you hit it more than once? I haven't had sex in Starfield.
We'll just cut that there.
I haven't had sex at all.
you wait until he's married.
I haven't had sex in Starfield. But when I have sex in Starfield, it's going to be glorious. Face 23 Brooklyn. Thank you again for the $20 super chat. He goes, with Phil dropping parity in Series S and X. Oh, yeah, fuck. Thank you. I actually forgot about that topic. With Phil dropping parity for Series X and S, that for split screen on Baldur's thing, I think it's a bad move. Floodgates are open. Other devs will be asked to skip out on more modes or features if the Series S has issues.
I'll add to this. If Microsoft didn't say after the fact that we are still working with a team to bring split screen to Series S in the future, if they didn't say that, then I absolutely would have been dropped parity and then opened the floodgates. But the fact that they're saying essentially we're bringing it without split screen right now, but we are still working on bringing split screen to the console, that kind of keeps it in check a little bit, because it means that people will not automatically jump on it, and Xbox are still actively trying to make that feature a part of Series S. If they just went, it's not coming at all, full stop, end of, parity clause is done, that's a major problem. But I think the fact that they kind of checked themselves and said, listen, we're still actually working on it, but what we're doing is a stopgap thing. Okay, you can play it now. It's going to take longer than we thought to get the split screen going on S, but we're still working on it. So you can play the game this year. You'll probably get co-op split screen next year. Done. I think if they didn't put that second tweet out where they're saying we're still working on bringing split screen over, then yeah, that's an issue.
I don't think. I think Faith asked a good question.
They set their own parity clause in their contracts, and if you set that, and we're not just talking about every developer. We're talking about specifically the awkward ones like your EAs and your Ubisofts. Right, those guys will actively look for reasons to not have a parity clause and just go, yeah, that's it. Oh, can't do it on the Series S. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, and Colt Eastwood in the chat, shout out to Colt. He says it's not opening the floodgates. This is called an outlier. This was the right call for Xbox's consoles and this big game. And I agree with Colt there. The floodgate. I mean, this.
Like I say, it would have been. I think it would have been if they didn't check themselves on the second tweet and said we're still working on bringing it, because it's essentially just them saying, yeah, we can't do it right now, but we can give you the game to play, but we're still working on it, because Xbox do not want to have slapping their own face for this parity clause. They've got that parity clause there for themselves, for the fact that they have these two consoles and they want to make sure they are feature comparable across those devices. The moment you remove that and you start releasing games on what for the X that can do a whole bunch of things, and then the S can't do it.
Okay, do you know what's a like-for-like comparison for my tastes then? If you look at the way that Sony handled Fortnite and crossplay, They managed to hold out for a freaking long time after allowing crossplay on that by calling it a beta, because Epic and Fortnite had massive weight to throw around. So Epic and Fortnite bullied Sony into allowing crossplay, and Fortnite was the only game on that platform that allowed it for a very long time before the rest of the industry buckled, because that pressure was mounting and mounting and mounting. In the case of Baldur's Gate 3, that game has been so well received and so well talked about through social media spaces that it accumulated a fair amount of weight, enough weight to make Microsoft bend the rules here. But I don't think that is like I don't think that is the floodgates coming down. I don't think they'll struggle with many other developers coming at them and saying, actually, we don't want to do this or we don't want to do that for the Series S. It would only be, like you said, the EAs and the Ubisofts if they were so inclined. But I don't think it's going to be a big issue there. I also would not put any money on split screen coming to the Series S version, despite that second tweet. Like, it was very non-committal. Like, we're going to try a bit.
I just think personally that I just think personally they've been working on it, and they've realized, listen, this isn't going to be a quick fix, which is why they've went, it is, get the game out. It works on Series X, you can have split screen on that. It works on Series S, just not in split screen. So get the game out. We'll continue to work on it, because it's not going to be anytime soon. It's going to be next year when this thing happens. And that's the thing.
Larian, through no sinister machinations or anything like that. They just ended up in a position where the game was so good and it was hurting Xbox to not have it. So an exception was made. And really a common sense exception that most people were asking for. I say most people were asking for. Obviously, some people don't care. It's a subset of people that actually care because they have a Series S and they want the game, or they have a Series X and they want the game. But it was a common sense approach to solve that problem. And now Baldur's Gate 3 goes to more places, and it's a really good, fun game that I'm playing a lot. So it's really freaking difficult.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I agree, though. It's not a game. It's not a game that I'm going to touch. But it is exactly the resolution that I said with Boxy on both of our shows the week before Gamescom. We both said what we think they should do realistically, although it could end up opening the floodgates more to the big guy, the EAs and the Ubis, not anyone else, but those two, because they do try to take the mick out a bit out of both platforms. But outside of that, the only resolution is just release it without split screen, like have Series X with it, and then try to add it later on. That is the only resolution, really, to make sure that game can still release, and that's what they've done.
I will just say and what I said on social, they should carve out an exception for split screen, because such a niche feature, and that's the problematic issue here. That'll be fine.
That's also slightly off. Only because the split screen situation with Baldur's Gate is quite different to split screen in like a racing game or something like that. So the issue with Baldur's Gate specifically is essentially, if you're playing it in split screen, it runs as though it's running a local server for multiplayer. It just takes too much memory. So making it a general, like painting a broad stroke over split screen, saying you don't need to include that as a parity feature, I don't think would be the right approach. It is very much a case by case. This game is a little bit exceptional in the way that it works. There's not much else quite like it. But...
What are the minimal settings of PC version? Is that more or less in the range of the Series S?
Yeah, minus the RAM.
Specifically the memory. Yeah.
Yeah.
The RAM's
memory's higher on PC.
Yeah. That's where the issue is. So yeah, okay. I mean, the funny thing is that Baldur's Gate is good news. It's coming to Xbox in December this year.
Yeah. Well, they just said 2023, didn't they? It's going to allow it to come out this year. Mate, I think it's going to be December.
It's perfect for you. You'll be playing bloody Starfield for God knows how long anyway. Because I don't even know how big the game is. Rand says, "Thank you for the super chat, Rand. You didn't have to." He goes, "Come on, guys, tell the people what you told me about Starfield. Ignore Colt Eastwood. I wish I could. Or should I read what you told me about Star?" I can't do that because that would set the world on fire. In a good way or a bad way. I'm such a dick tease, cock tease. Oh, wait,
the same as that guy that got arrested by the police.
Yeah,
Did you saw that story?
By the police.
Yeah.
He stole multiple copies of Starfield and then started streaming it on his phone and
got stuff in his house that was stolen as well, like $10,000 or whatever. So he got fucked.
He got fucked. I love you, Owen. He got fucked. What? Nintendo, the Otaku with the $5 super chat. The difference between No Man's Sky and Starfield is BGS's persistent world with all the movable objects being tracked with their own physics.
Yep.
Yeah. I will say, yeah, that is a cool feature, man. Like that is like kind of blew me away. I know I haven't played that many Fallout games, but it's just in space for some reason. It's like, oh, how are you doing this? I don't know. Asa will tell you. We don't care about the technical things, but only Bethesda do this kind of thing, and it's amazing. I found that genuinely, I was like, holy shit! Go back to the planet, and I'm like, yo, it's where I left it. The bodies are where they were, and I know we talked about that. This is like, obviously everyone knows this, but I find that just amazing considering the scale of the game. So yeah, man, Starfield is Starfield, and I can't wait to talk about it. It's just like having a freaking gag. What's it called? Gag thing.
Gag. Yeah.
A gag, yeah, in my mouth. That is just like try to tell you everything about it, but I can't. But yeah, okay, we're gonna wrap this up, but the final topic is a big one, and I know Asa, you don't like talking about consolidation, and I really don't want to dwell on it too long as well, because there's a lot of gaming news. But oh fuck, there's two topics. But okay, very quickly, PlayStation Portal, yeah, that well.
Can we skip this?
Really? Next topic.
Done.
And next topic. We have to talk about it. PlayStation Portal, man. What the fuck is this? This thing is just it's taking the piss. This device that you can't even play games natively, streams Sony are turning into. I told you, PlayStation's
the audio thing as well. You can't use Bluetooth headphones. You have to use Sony Link proprietary technology bullshit to connect some specific Sony headphones and not use any others. And like, come on, ditch the proprietary crap, Sony. You already failed with your silly cracking 3D audio that didn't go anywhere and had to revert back to Dolby Atmos.
Why have they done? There must be an angle here, because they also bought Odyssey, or spelled AUDZE, which Oddies, or I think they're pronounced Odyssey, but I'm not sure. Their headphones are supposed to be mad. I was supposed to buy one, actually. They have these magnetic planar technologies, which can actually fuck your shit up. If you keep popping it like this, it will break the plates like this. But the headset are known to be top of the line gaming, like way ahead of a lot of these, even the Steel Series, all of that, which I'm intending to get. So I think it's a good buy from Sony, but what's the angle here? Like, I'm genuinely asking. I don't know. Like, Asa, is there any justifiable reason why they would remove Bluetooth from this?
And you know who else doesn't have Bluetooth?
Xbox.
Do you not think that's like remotely similar? So the reason that they're given, I think that it should have Bluetooth in. I think the Xbox should have Bluetooth in as well. But they are saying that the Link technology that it's got, their proprietary thing, is actually supposed to be really good in terms of lossless audio with zero latency. The problem is that whereas Xbox has been doing this for 10 years and there are a lot of different headsets that support it, and you've got obviously HDMI that supports audio, so there are more options on the Xbox. The problem is that PlayStation is very fresh to this. So if you take out the established options and then all you sell people is £200, $200 headphones and earpieces as an option, then you are very much shoehorning people into an expensive little place that they don't want to be in. So I get the criticism for it in that sense. But yeah, like both of them should support as many audio solutions as they can, because that's the consumer friendly way to go. And it's only ever been that.
It was the same with the Kraken stuff. Like, why would you force your own proprietary 3D audio technology on developers when Dolby Atmos is pretty much this?
Their audio is really good. No, I'll defend them on that one, because Tempest audio is really good.
I mean, it might be really good, but it's just another thing that it's not necessary. Like, yes, it could be grand, but Atmos is as good. So why? Like, is there a need?
Hey, but how much is the the Portal?
$200. Yeah, same as the
Sorry?
headphones that you need to get with it.
Fuck.
$400.
Holy shit, dudes.
Sony doesn't
100?
give a fuck.
Yeah,
Sony's like the mafia. They're bold, bro, and you're gonna take it. They're trying to be Nintendo.
You can use it anywhere, but the PlayStation has to be on and it has to be connected to its Wi-Fi to be able to use your Portal device outside of the house. So if you leave home, your PlayStation has to be on.
Brad,
Can we
they
go
care
to the
about the
next topic?
environment. Next topic is I'm not interested in this device. I'm going to trade my Steam Deck.
Well,
for
neither,
Asus.
according to Push Square, who did a poll on this, the vast majority of the PlayStation community aren't interested in this device either.
No.
I'm glad that actually there's
I
something.
think it's about 10% that were interested.
Yeah, fuck this.
So I've seen a lot of conversation around this saying that this thing is dead on arrival. It's not got a hope because it is like really specific circumstances that it's useful for, and for a lot of people, myself included, I'm not touching this thing. I don't care for it in the slightest. I don't play like anything on a mobile or a small device or a undocked Switch or a Steam Deck or anything of that kind of ilk. So the PlayStation Portal is just not for me at all. But it's not in the same position as PlayStation VR 2, which is an accessory that could die. And PlayStation VR 2 could die because it needs to sell a certain amount to be a viable ecosystem for games. And PlayStation Portal, yeah, that's what it's called, is not in that position at all because it's just an accessory that plays the games that are already on the established ecosystem. So it doesn't really matter if they only sell 5 of them. It's still going to work for its lifespan. It is different in that scenario, like in that sense. It can't really die. But also,
I think the only issue is specifically, and we always joked about this at the beginning of the gym when we're talking about multiple SKUs and multiple devices and things like that, is if families go into a store and see a Portal device with a PlayStation thing and go, oh, look at this handheld device. I'll get that for my kid who doesn't have a PlayStation 5.
That may be a risk there. A lot of people
you know what these blinking store owners are all about, man. None of them are going to tell you don't need it. They just go, okay, he's picking it up, so you must have a PlayStation.
I actually think you're onto something there. I think it might be a bit of a marketing challenge to, if you're Sony and said we don't want to mislead potential purchasers.
It would have to be bundled with, or it would have to be on the box. PlayStation 5 required.
Yeah, and it has to be quite strongly. Most people don't read that shit. No one has time. It's like, oh, it's portable. The store guy's like, yeah, you can play your PlayStation remotely. All right, buy it. So they might be banking on that as a part of a strat as well. You'd be surprised. I'm not saying that's, you never know. The final topic, Microsoft. Everyone said the CMA, they'll just fucking close over them. Yeah. Well, they're obviously not doing that because Microsoft has announced that it intends to sell off its cloud gaming rights to Ubisoft. That is, in my opinion, pretty significant divestiture, so amount almost akin to a structural remedy. It shows a lot, like people, does it make a difference for Xbox generally? I don't think so, apart from maybe adding some freaking, I don't know. I don't think it's a terrible move, but Microsoft as a cloud company was banking when it made this deal on, leveraging its cloud position, and for it to forsake that, to give it to Ubisoft of all companies. Owen, do you give a shit?
First of all, I don't give a rat's ass about cloud gaming. The second thing, it also shows how Microsoft sees this whole situation. They think the deal is way more worth with Activision than some cloud bullshit that probably not going to lift off, really. Because if it's really in the significant plans or strategy that they have, they would never divest it. So they probably see that it's not picking up the pace that they expect it to be. So they thought, okay, fuck it, let's get this deal done. This will bring us way more. This brings us way more by having our cloud services still connected to us. So I think they are happy to do so. Because if it was really in the strategy, like key pillars, they will never sell it off. Never.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you fully. I also think it's a fluid situation. Yeah, fuck. Oh, it's we're the best friends. But I do agree with you, and I think like their strategy was initially when Phil Spencer pitched Xbox in the grander vision of Xbox to Satya Nadella, would have doubled down on the cloud point. I think over a period of time, they may have their perception of cloud is that it's not really taking off, and we're prepared to take the hit. Now, a lot of Xbox fans got really upset. I even said someone's like, this is some stupid word like criminal, like injustice or like some bullshit. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Bro, I'm not joking. I might even find the tweet. It's so fucking stupid. But to me, actually, I saw that and I was like, okay, that actually gives me a lot of confidence, because I was kind of pissed at this whole cloud strategy and stuff, and everything seems to be taking away from the console crowd. And it was like Microsoft said, look, we're gonna go do this, sell off our cloud gaming rights to Ubisoft, sell off as whatever, that's the right way of describing it. We'll do that. But that just double downs that Microsoft's focus is on the studio. It's on but also mobile.
Exactly. Software.
And the software.
Yes.
So the cloud argument, CMA, if you fucking reject it still, I swear, oh, they were so dumb. CMA, I don't think they will reject it.
No, they cannot.
CMA will accept it. This is a bigger divestiture as you can get. It shows an incredible goodwill and maneuverability on Microsoft's part. It fucking kills the argument that CMA didn't matter. Like Dutch has been saying, we've been saying for a lot. The CMA, they cannot ignore the CMA. This is your proof. If you still think that, what the fuck is wrong with you? Do you think Microsoft would do this? Like, no. It keeps staring at it. If the lawyers say it in front of the FTC, not FTC, sorry, the CAT judge. They said it. They can't do what you're thinking they're doing. They cannot close over. The CAT's remit is limited. And now the CMA is doing its phase 1 review of this thing again, which is normal process. No one has rejected anything. I need to clarify that, because people just said, oh no, how dare that? This is disgusting. CMA's taking the piss. No, they have to do the phase 1, phase 2. And according to our good friend Luke Steele, you should have listened to the first place, you pricks. You can see, and not you, chat, the people who are coming at me for that. And insulting her constantly like a fucking cult. I reckon it's going to go through. I reckon there was no way on earth the CMA, I ran out. The CMA would have even agreed to the stay and this unprecedented second review had they not had this conversation already. Sure, they may have not had it in the detail, but the general conversation between the CMA and Microsoft would have happened. They said, look, okay, how about this? And this goes to show that the CMA has the appetite for dialogue between the two parties, something FTC didn't have. Mm-hmm. The CMA sat down, Microsoft sat down with them and said, look, how about this? We agree to stay because this is what we want to propose. CMA would never have agreed to it unless they had the idea generally. So, and then the CMA and Sarah Cardell have said, like, look, it's still good, subject to our review, subject to our investigation of the details. And if they still reject it, well, it depends on what technicality, but I think it's stupid. CMA, you have successfully angled the cloud thing. Really like this is a significant divestiture. You got what you wanted. Microsoft has now agreed. I believe it's basically a question of when, not if.
Yeah, time.
Yeah, it's going to get done. So don't worry, chat. I had people like, I had someone say, oh man, this is like killed my mood. I'm like, what the fuck? Why? Play fucking Starfield. Oh, we'll wait for Starfield. If it's good. Fuck. I'm just fucking myself again. The deal's going through. If it doesn't go through, I'll become a prostitute. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an incredible show, I'm sure. Sorry, my voice. You'll be the judge, I'm sure. Sorry, it's been messy. I have not slept, but I had such a good time because it's like a reunion with all of you and my boys. Oh, and Dutch, man, you two, like, it's good. Now we've actually touched.
Yes. Yeah, we did. We hugged.
We hugged. Lots of hugs. Aaron Greenberg hugged me. He was like, nice warm bosom. No, he was really nice, man. He's like a like a lovable uncle. He's like Jack Black almost. That kind of character. He's such a nice, genuinely, he's a nice guy. So like it was, but you know what? Forget all those guys. It's the community, man. That was my highlight. Just meeting you guys. And I could just do that. To be honest, I barely got to play that many games. We met you guys, and it was so much fun, man. Yeah. We need to do a bigger, better next year. It's just gonna get lit, and we need to get lit together more, man. None of this fucking baby like go to sleep at 11 shit. Like if we say do a line, do a line. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Who says we didn't? Who says we didn't?
Oh shit. But yeah, honestly, the community feeling is massive. The Xbox community, this is gonna sound like such a shill thing to say, but I like the Xbox community. It's just good people. That's all it is. Like, it's just nice people. I even met John from Xbox Era. I thought he was gonna be a dick. He was actually all right. He wasn't that much of a dick. No, John. He's right.
John's cool.
John fitted in really nice as well. And, with the dinner and the whole, planning with everybody was cool, nobody making any arguments, whatever. We just had tons of laughs and, man, it was like each other for I don't know how many years, right? Like normal friends that you have in your own country or whatever. It's insane.
Yeah, this is what my girlfriend was saying. Like, they might end up being really weird and stuff. I'm like, I'll be surprised because I've talked to you guys so much. Like, what could be different? Like, just the proportions. But it was just like it was like we've been talking for ages. And honestly, I'm just like, it's just really good to see the Xbox community, and I hope PlayStation and just the wider gaming community. We have that coming together. But fuck it. If you don't come together, that's better for me because I have the sauce. Anyway, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the show. I will try and get a video out just covering up our impressions of the show and just some footage and just us having fun. I've recorded some stuff. Might be some of my escapades outside of Gamescom hours, but it'll be age limited, I'm sure. But it's just epic show. Before we do, we have to give the gents outro time. Forza Owen, your debut here, but we know each other now more than anyone.
Brother from another mother.
Absolutely, man. Ben misses you, so does Sammy, man.
Yes.
It's so good to meet you, man.
Yeah, those guys also, man. They just I don't know what it is. Just, you met them and you start talking with them. We talked for half an hour. It was insane. Like I said, each other for many years. Drinks afterwards, have fun, watching some people on the booth, also with short hair. but no, we had freaking good times. I like it. Yeah, it was a good experience.
Yes, it was. Tell the people where they can find you.
So they can find me on Twitter, or X it's called, as Forza Airman. That's my X handle or Twitter handle. And my YouTube channel is Racing From Home. I uploaded. I had the scoop actually on the Forza Motorsport footage. It's been viewed over almost 56,000 times. So for my small, modest channel with only 315 subscribers, I was very pleased with that. So I will continue putting in time and invest in the channel. So when Motorfest launches, when Motorsport is launching, maybe I will stream some GT7 as well, just to tease you guys and maybe put a VR on. But no. Yeah. People can find me there, and hopefully we can join this fantastic podcast in the future also sometimes, I guess. It was really an honor to be on.
Absolutely. The honor is ours. The pleasure is ours. Do check him out. If you want to know full unbiased view on racing games, Forza Owen is the guy to chat to. So please do subscribe. Thank you, Isla, for linking his stuff in the chat. Wandering Dutch, the darling of Aaron Greenberg. Actually, Owen is. He has freaking dinner and lunch and sex with him. But you're also a darling. And you're the only person Hellblade actually retweeted the picture of, because you look like a Viking because you stay next to Melina. Tell the people, man. Well, first of all, it's just so nice to meet you, man. Second of
Yeah,
all,
you
even
will.
better than that, I'm so glad that I'm taller than you. And finally, where can people find
Your hair is taller than me. Your hair is taller than me, guys.
Still counts.
I am bald.
Still counts. I'm bald. I'm so glad your beard isn't on the that side, because then I'll be fucked. Yeah.
I look like a who?
That would look funny, man.
Yeah.
And then the mental anus on top also. For fuck's sake. Oh man.
I got the
Sorry.
worst mental image in my oh shit. Ace was like, what the fuck is going
It was
on?
like, it's good that he was not at Gamescom. For sure, he's happy now. Those crazy bastards.
Next time.
Oh,
But,
Next time you have to come, Ace.
yeah, you will,
100%, yeah,
you will
100%.
fit in.
Dutch, where can people find you and your anus?
Yes. Now new Twitter X place is Wondering Dutch X on the end.
Nice one.
So yeah, after the other one was deleted. And of course YouTube at Wondering Dutch. And we did obviously a little bit of coverage as well on Gamescom. Got Forza Motorsport up as well. Had the Starfield trailer up beforehand, which I semi-intentionally made look like a official Xbox trailer, and people still can't seem to tell the difference. So I just did a good job.
It's good. Good. Really good. Launder it.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, it's been absolutely awesome. Gamescom was, as you've said, the community around it was the best part about it. I think, aside from being able to play the games, like the atmosphere was insane. As you mentioned, it wasn't just like the top level execs at Xbox, but every one of them was like just hitting you up and like saying hello and having super long conversations. Like, I introduced you to the head of Xbox Bethesda marketing outside, and you were
she
just
was
like,
so
"Oh yeah,
lovely.
yeah."
She was so lovely, man. Like genuinely, like just talked about other shit for ages. So nice. Just nice people are hard to find, by the way.
She was an MVP also, right?
She
on
was
the Xbox
originally an
program,
Xbox MVP. Then she got the job at Xbox working as the marketing lead.
So she's translating actually the needs of fans, like we do, or we are, in the marketing team, right? So most of the times they're in a bubble, and she can really explain it in a really nice way. She was lovely. All the stuff that you see marketing-wise on Starfield, she has a very big part in this one.
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned her, because at Xbox Fan Fest, I missed out everything because I spent.
Yeah, you spent a lot of time.
time.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah. I thought you maybe were going on a date together or what?
No, man. It was just having very. No, she's taken.
It's interesting.
She's lovely. She's lovely. We had a very interesting conversation, life stuff, and everything. It's when you have like proper chat with people and you talk about like serious things, like. But on a public floor.
Was the same. That's the same with all of them. Like even AC Bongos, Graham Boyd, as everybody knows, like chatting to him, and they don't go, "Oh yeah, such and such." How like they don't go, "How's the channel? What do you do?" They're just like, "How are you? Like, what you been up to? How's things going?"
Pretty personal.
Actual personal conversations, regular life shit.
I'm glad that was it. I was just thinking, wait, how do I explain to everyone that these were nice people? It was because they're very avid gamers, that helps. But also just beyond talking about games, even PlayStation games, we talked with her about Zone of Enders being really like one of her favorite games. We just talked about life stuff, and then that's where and different mentality, everyone has different beliefs, but just having that conversation still in earnest, it was just nice, man. So it was really good. So people chat. I would love to see you guys like meet up more events. If Exo 19 or whatever the hell is going to be called happens, we're going to get lit. So and I'll push that on this channel to make sure that we get together as a community, because it's just so much fun.
I definitely recommend. I was saying, and we all kind of agreed as well. For the likes of Gamescom, I couldn't recommend it for public days to play games, but if you go in there for the community, it's worth it. But 100%. Games-wise, you're not playing anything on a public day. There's no chance.
Absolutely. I don't even think it's worth it. People actually did do that. They got their little chairs ready to sit down, and they enjoy that, and that's fine. For me, it's a waste of time. I only come for the community and just to have that fun. But yeah, it's epic. Gamescom, you killed it. Apart from your organization, shit. Your signage sucks ass, but the event was good and the cosplay, German chicks. And on that note, Asa, I love you. Outro time, I guess. I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, I did a video this week about the CMA and the Activision Blizzard King stuff. That's on my channel. I'm doing my show on a Thursday, and there's streams and things happening, and that's my outro. I do talk a lot more on a Thursday, for those that are wondering. Thursday show ran for 3 hours of throat-hurting talk, so that's a thing.
Oh, shit. Definitely check it out. Ace's throat was also hurting, so we don't know what happened there. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go get some sleep. Thank you so much. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed the show, and we'll start this with cleaning and wiping our mental anuses. Take care. Goodbye.